Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Such a wonderful, wonderful victory Wednesday. Feels so much better. You can already tell. Everybody in the chat is in a much lighter mood. I think the program here is in a much lighter mood. It was much needed. We will get into all of the details from last night's victory over the Giants, 5-1, your San Diego Padres. But I think let's get it started. We got to check on the big guy here, Benjamin Higgins. I usually introduce Paulie first, but I'm going to give you top billing today. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm hoping to make it to the end of the show today. But for everyone who has reached out, my son is, again, doing better. We're worried we might have to take him back into the hospital. Just things were kind of heading in the wrong direction, but slowly improvement throughout the day. And again, did all right yesterday. So hopefully things are just fine. And I will go back and see him right after the show and make sure things are good again today.
So you are essentially on like a high alert call.
I think we're okay for now. I'm not too concerned at the moment. Everything I've heard, sleeping comfortably at the moment, and nothing bad going on. So yeah, feel good. And again, thank you all the tier ones and people who reached out. I've been hearing from people I haven't heard from in like years who just making sure that everything's okay. So it's nice to feel appreciated and loved out there, and you guys are really awesome. So thank you.
And I mean, when you left yesterday, I don't know how much you listened to, but it was maybe the worst radio of all time. And it jarred us, really, not your leaving, but your urgency in leaving really made Paulie and I very nervous. So we are very happy to hear that everything's better. We are very happy that you're back, and we love you. And we just were a little bit panicked because you don't want anything to happen. It was scary, dude. It really was.
I didn't really get to listen to any of the show. I'm dying to know how Ben's box went. I was really excited about that.
Oh man, let me tell you about a significant moment in radio history.
Whew. Count to five.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paper clips.
Paper clips. That was it. It lasted all of 5 seconds. It was one of the worst moments of my entire life. I'm going to tell you, I've had some rough days, and that moment right there was right up there. It was a dog ass idea. And I don't know that we're going to be doing it again.
Well, next time I'm putting something like potato salad in there to make it a lot tougher.
Yeah. For real. Purple loved it. He's the only one that loved it.
We were so excited for it. It worked when we did a little test run with Woodsy, who did not know at the time what was in there. It took him 4 or 5 guesses. And our caller got on the very first guess. Took him 2.5 seconds. And
paper clips.
I think Woodsy goes, well, congratulations on the tickets, but I'm pretty upset because this was supposed to kill an entire segment. It's 9:01.
I told Paulie after I go, don't call me, don't text me. We are never to speak of this again. You just let it go, and I don't want to hear anything about it. I'm going to flush it. I really had to have the mentality, Ben, of a big league ball player yesterday. I had to put my best big leaguer cap on and say, hey, man, that was an 0 for 4. Not only was it 0 for 4, you grounded into 4 double plays, and you crapped your pants, on the running down to first base. Everyone's going to be talking about it. You just got to flush it and move on. And that's what we did. But yeah, we are Ben and Woods. It's great to have you back. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer, and the aforementioned Ben Higgins, who I was sharing a laugh with before the program today, because I tweeted something yesterday that happened to me that was so funny. I was sitting, I'm home visiting my parents. My dad has just had a major surgery, if you didn't know. And, he's recovering slowly. He's not moving around very well. He's not sleeping very well. But one thing he does have to do all day, every day, is manage the workers that come in and out of this house. I think that's what retirement is from so far what I've been able to glean. Guys come over. We've had workers here, multiple workers here every single day. And there's something wrong with the air conditioning upstairs. Now, it's been well documented on this program. I am a moron when it comes to anything house related, really anything, honestly, like really, really anything. I'm kind of a moron. But when it comes to when it comes to handiwork type things and handyman issues and plumbing and electrical and air conditioner, washer and dryer, whatever, you name it, I'm out. I know my limitations, and I don't stick my nose where it doesn't belong. My dad, who raised me, is also the very same way. He could not hang a picture. I can't hang a picture. He barely can get a light bulb in. I can barely get a light bulb in. Changing the batteries is about as far as it can go. So I finish up the show, and I have a little lunch, and the doorbell rings, and it's the AC guy. And he goes upstairs, and he's futzing around up there for an hour. And he comes down, and I'm sitting on the couch, and he goes, well, to my dad, he goes, well, I got some good news and some not so good news. I see my dad just deflate. And the guy starts. So anyway, what happened was your coil, blah, blah. And he starts talking in gibberish to us. And my dad, you can see him head just sink. And he goes, so also, we don't have that part. It's going to take a few days to get that part in. I did call. It is ready. But we got to get it shipped here. My dad's like, yep, what are we looking at here? And he's like, maybe Friday, probably Monday. My dad's like, all right, what's the damage? And the guy gives them the bill. And my dad goes, you're joking. And the guy's like, no, unfortunately, like I told you, the coil is a special blah, 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 blah. And my dad just sits there and wears. I'm just watching him get fleeced. I'm watching my dad playing 3-card Monte on the streets of Manhattan, and a guy is just fleecing him for about $2,500. And so my dad goes upstairs, and I get the guy, and I start talking to the guy, and he starts telling me, oh, yeah, man, this coil is a real special coil. It heats up the water at about 28 degrees. The air blows through it. Now, what happened, that might sound cold, but when the hot air blows through, and I'm looking at him like, buddy, save your breath. You're in the wrong house. What's the price? Whatever it is, we'll pay it. We will pay the thing for your special coil, whatever it is. And the guy walked out, and I looked at my dad, and I go, you and me, man. You and me. Same thing happens to me all the time. I mean, I'm the guy that pays $300 for an oil change.
I don't know why, but I'm picturing Larry the Cable Guy in your living room
kind of look
yesterday.
like him. Yeah, he kind of looked like him.
Jargon is really the key. I mean, every business has it. We don't sell anything to anyone, but if we had to sell, a radio show to people, we could use all kinds of technical jargon about the radio station to try to we're gonna have to charge you a little,
the average quarter hour.
Yeah, we're gonna have to charge you a little bit extra for the compression on the microphones, and that's we got the premium compression mics here with the Sennheisers. So
if you want the good condenser, we can do that, but it's gonna cost a little bit extra. So probably get it to you by Friday, maybe Friday, but probably more likely Monday.
Jargon gets you every single time because you want to act like you know what they're talking about because you don't want to feel like you're an idiot. So you kind of nod along like it's making sense to you when it isn't making any sense at all to you.
Sarah wants to know, have I really paid $300 for an oil change? Here's what happens, Sarah. When I go in, I get just a regular oil change, but then they say, hey, this thing here, this filter's got to go. It's a filter. I get the upgrades every time I go. They always can get me for the upgrades. That's what I end up paying for. I get upsold. I don't actually pay $300 for an oil change. I get upsold every time I go anywhere.
Like, hey, your radiator could probably use this. And you're like, okay, yep, sounds good. Hey, do you want us to add more of this fluid? Yeah,
switch it up.
Yeah, so the funny thing about your story is that almost the exact same thing happened to me yesterday because I was over at my parents' house and my dad was there waiting for someone to come by to talk about some improvements at the house. And that is also what he does when people come over and they try to sell him things. And my dad is like you, like me, just wants to get through the process. Now, it wasn't the HVAC. It wasn't the air conditioning. It was the gutters, the storm gutters on the house, because my dad has always been very diligent. I've seen him do it over the years, cleaning out the gutters way better than I ever was, getting up on the ladder, at least once a year, maybe twice, making sure all the leaves get out of there. So, the drains are clean. And when it does rain here, it, eventually, because it does actually happen here once or twice. Even if you don't live here in Southern California, think it never rains. It does once or twice. So you do have to keep your gutters clean. But mom didn't want him climbing up on the ladder anymore and thought, let's do something better. So I don't know if you've seen them probably on social media. I've seen it on my Instagram feed, those rain gutters that have like the screen protector on top to keep anything from getting in other than the water. So it keeps them clean all year long. You don't have to worry about cleaning them. They just work. So he was waiting for the guy to come give him an estimate on what that was going to cost. But he had told me who the guy was coming, and don't know, might be expensive, not sure I want to do it. We'll see what he says when he comes. So I'm kind of just overhearing. The guy is Scottish, by the way. He comes in with the Scottish brogue or what, he's got his accent, explaining we're going to repair and clean out all the gutters, and then we'll add the screen on top. And I've looked around the entire house, and he's given him the entire explanation. And my dad, like me, like you, just wants to get through it at the end. I'm going, what's the price going to be? But I listen to my dad kind of, and he wants the explanation to be over. Like I would want to get off the phone call as fast as possible. So eventually he says, okay, I'm good. Let's just do it.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Sure.
And
the Scottish guy goes, I haven't even given you the price yet. So apparently he could charge my dad whatever he wanted just to go away and get this done. So he didn't have to think about interacting with the estimate guy anymore from Scotland.
I mean, it's just, I was like, so I was sitting there watching and I'm like, is he about to haggle? And he was not in the haggling mood.
Neither was my dad.
My dad gave him the old, well, what choice do I have? As he was walking out the door.
That's when you're screwed. You're like, what other option do I have?
I get it too. The last thing my dad wants is to find like another company, get 3 guys like that to come in and give him the same estimate with maybe, $100 different on the price. Just wants to get it done.
It's so here in Texas, it is 98 degrees outside. It is right now. It's 6:15 in the morning here, or 8:15 in the morning here. It's 98 degrees. The upstairs, my dad sleeps up there while he's recovering. I go, yeah, you got to get this thing done. Like you can't put it up. You will die. Like in Texas with the heat, it's so bad. So he looked at the guy. He's like, I don't have a choice. So I'm on the couch. I'm convulsing laughing when the guy leaves. I'm like, this is unbelievable. He goes, hey, look, I know, I passed it down to you. He goes, but my dad passed it down to me. And I've told you guys one story. Remember the story I told you about Christmas? My dad really wanted a stereo for Christmas when he was in college. It was, everyone was getting these big hi-fi stereos with record players. And my dad shows up to Christmas, back from Notre Dame for Christmas. And he wanted a stereo for the dorm. And he told his parents, that's what I want. I want a stereo. Comes home, there's a box there. He opens it up, and it's headphones. And he's like, okay, here we go. The first step of the equation. I got some headphones. Where's the stereo? And he never got one. But it was the headphones with the extra long cord so that he could plug into his buddy's stereo in his room. I got you the extra long
cord. Oh, my God.
Because and I asked my dad, I go, was that a cheap thing? He goes, no. Honestly, it was like, I don't know what electronics to buy thing. His dad was like, he didn't know. And the other one, he said when he was 12, we're talking 1967. He said every house on our street had the backboard that was, bolted to the standalone garage in the back. Every kid in the Midwest had the backboard and hoop bolted to the standalone garage. So for Christmas, when he's like maybe 10 or 11, he opens it up, he gets it. My dad said it sat there for 2 years in the basement, leaned up against the wall because his dad had no earthly idea how to bolt it on. And finally, only when they hired a guy to come finish out their basement and hang paneling and stuff like that, my grandpa goes, hey, bud, if I give you like an extra $50, can you put that thing up on the garage? The guy's like, yeah, dude, no problem. He had it up in like 10 minutes. So this is like, we're talking generations of inept male behavior in my family. And I'm sure I will pass it on to my children as well. But watching him get fleeced in real time, the guy I swear to God, he was making stuff up. He was making terms up. And my dad's just, all right. Yeah, sounds good. Guess I don't have any choice. It was an incredible afternoon here. Worth the trip. That part alone was worth the trip.
I forgot to tell you guys, I actually Colonel Budget actually splurged on something recently, and I got to set it up yesterday when I was home. And I must say, at least in the initial reviews, I can't believe I waited so long to buy this because
another doll.
No, and it's
a bigger one.
It's something that I kind of
robotic one.
It is a robot actually, but it doesn't do that.
A Roomba.
I got the Shark 2-in-1 mopping and vacuuming robot finally from Costco. I saw it. The price was good, and I'm always sweeping and mopping and cleaning our floors, and I thought, I know there's a better way, but every time I look at it, it was like $600, $570, and I'm going, you can't be that lazy that you're going to pay that much, and is it going to even work? But finally, I went to Costco the other day, and it was on sale. It was like under $300 for the Shark. The reviews were pretty good, so I pulled the trigger. I got it. I set it up, worked it for the first time yesterday. It was amazing. The floors are pristine in our house. For the first time ever, loved my 2-in-1 Shark vacuuming and mopping robot. Amazing.
Well, the only thing I will warn you of, and I'm sure you've already heard the horror stories, you have one dog left in the rotation. I don't know her vomit or poop schedule if she ever does it in the house. If she does, and that thing rolls over it, it is the worst day of your life. It's the worst day of your life.
Hasn't in years. She's really good about going outside and has been problem free, but it's always a worry with the dog, I guess. But the main problem is she thinks it's like a little rabbit or something, and it drives around, and she was barking. So I was trying to get her comfortable with it yesterday when I set it up. She would kind of approach it and like bark at it, and it would kind of go at her. It would go at her, and then it would run away, and she'd get scared, and she'd run off the other direction. It was definitely felt like a new pet being, joining the house, because it was, like walking around essentially downstairs, and she couldn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, it's pretty genius. We've run through a couple in our home. Ours runs all the time, pretty much almost 5 to 6 hours a day, nonstop, and it's a total game changer. You wonder why you never got one before. And yeah, they are expensive, but like anything, man, you get what you pay for. Those things are spectacular. I'm so proud of you for doing that. You deserve that.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you did that. When did you get it? Yesterday?
I got it over the weekend. We set it up yesterday.
Okay.
So it's all good to go. It worked, and the floors are now spotless in my home. I love it.
And I did see somebody in the chat talking about how, thank God for guys like us, right? Because we give, and my dad said the same thing. My dad, would always say, oh, there's something wrong with the garbage disposal. Well, I'm going to call the guy down the street who's a plumber, and which is his job. That's his job to do. So I'm paying him. I'm keeping this whole economy running, right? I'm paying the AC guy. I'm paying the pool guy. I'm paying the lawn guy. Let's keep money going out, to take care of others out there. And thank God for rubes like us, Benny. We keep the whole thing going.
And I'm sure all the tier ones are thinking, I am so glad I don't have to do my own radio show every single morning to entertain everybody.
Do it for you.
We will do that for you, so you don't have to set up all the different segments and the rundown of the entire show. I will go through that for you next. Set the menu for the program for today. You don't have to worry about it. It all comes with the prepackaged price. It's completely installed. Expensive. It's completely installed. $0 down. $0 a month for our incredible service that we provide. We're terrible. We don't charge anything for all this work that we do.
We're going to do this on the house. And our YouTube subscribers, though, thank you guys for chipping in. Keegan, $10 a month. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Keegan.
Keep the lights on.
All right, let's check traffic. Kelly's got a job to do as well. You don't want to have to check your own traffic, so Kelly's going to do that for you, and then we'll set the menu for a Wednesday edition of Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the California Office of Traffic Safety. Continues to be a pretty quiet one on our freeways at this time. In fact, looks like tow truck has just gotten a stalled vehicle out of the left lane on the Coronado Bridge, heading over to the island just before mid-span, so you might see a little residual slowing.
Speeding is dangerous. To other drivers, to people walking or biking, speeding catches up with you. Tickets, crashes, or even worse, slow the fast down. Safe speeds save lives. Go safely, California. From the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
Good news, everybody. We got a grap up instead of a crap up. The first time this week, Padres snapped their 4-game losing streak last night. We will go through the game. Nick Pavetta's performance. Once again, a leadoff home run. I mean, that was a moment that I think we all felt a bit of a knot in our stomach last night, Woods, when Jung-Hoo Lee led off the game with a home run against Nick Pavetta.
I almost threw up, man. I almost did. I texted my wife. I go, I can't even impart to you how much we need a victory tonight. I said, I cannot go in there tomorrow under the weather, having the weirdest week, and talk about another flipping loss. Right after he hit the homer, Hannah texted me. She goes, "What's that do for you?" I was like, "You stupid!" I was like, "God dang it, dude!" I was like, "I can't believe this. I cannot believe it." How many runs is that in the last 5 games in the first inning?
That's 6 home runs in the last 3 games in the first inning, which is nuts. I mean, that's completely nuts. But yeah, the first inning has been a major problem.
Stupid sport
for your San Diego Padres lately. But after that, no problem at all for Nick Pavetta. We will talk about his performance, the offense, the lineup that Mike Schilt put out yesterday, the injury updates from your San Diego Padres as well. We will pay off Jesse Agler's incorporator. I'm sorry that I missed Jesse yesterday, but you did give him his incorporator word. How was Jesse yesterday?
He was great. He's always great.
Oh, he was calm and rational. I can't believe Jesse Agler made everybody feel a little bit better during his appearance, like he always does.
You're right. Spicy. He was a little spicy though in his tone, but it was still the same like calming, soothing message.
Well, I think Jesse usually is the voice of reason in San Diego, and I'm glad that the Padres were able to get a victory yesterday to probably back up Jesse's words of zen and calmness, but spicy, a little bit spicy as well.
A little spicy.
We'll go through the rest of baseball. Padres, glad they won yesterday because they did not get a lot of help from anybody else around baseball yesterday in the playoff chases. We'll go through that. We'll have our regular segments as well. Don't do this. Take on Woods. Sorry I missed you guys yesterday, but we will have an opportunity to qualify for Las Vegas, a Rindle Report, and more coming up on a Wednesday morning. Free, once again, to listen to.
Yep.
And we do not charge you for this program every single day. We do appreciate the tier ones who are the gold members in the stream for all the extras that they provide for us. We will be back, though, with our Padres wrap up, talk about last night's win, hopefully setting the ship back on its correct course now on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, Woods and I talk about our card room in Chula Vista, 7 Mile Casino. It's not just the closest. Yes, it is the closest, and it's a big selling point because no one likes to spend a couple hours in the car getting to and getting back from their card room, but it's the best, Woods. I mean, I've been in a few of them around, most of them, I think, around the county at some point. 7 Mile just far exceeds all my expectations when I walk in.
Yes, sir. It really, really does. And the best part, the proximity to downtown, to Petco Park, it's just 7 minutes away, guys. So I like it when it's really, really easy, and that's really, really easy to get to. Really easy once you park and get inside as well. No big parking garage or anything like that. Also, you're going to walk into a smoke-free environment. You're going to walk into a card room, not a slot machine room that's going to be driving you crazy with those sounds all night. Just a really cool place to go sit and play some cards.
Have a great meal at Sammy's, whatever time of day. They are serving it up 24/7. Of course, the great Sammy's wood-fired pizza favorites like the pizzas, the pastas, and the chopped salads. But the players menu has great Asian dishes like the Kung Pao chicken. I love that Asian pork chop that Woods loves. And, of course, the messy sundae. I didn't win the contest this year, but it's their famous dessert at Sammy's. You can get 24/7 from Sammy's food any time of the day. Check it out. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
All right, whatever we're talking about on The Fan, it is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. And what we're talking about right now, the San Diego Padres. Before we get into our wrap-up, Woods and Paul, what did you think about yesterday's lineup as penciled in by the manager, Mike Shildt? Of course, didn't include either Jackson Merrill, who remained on the shelf with the ankle injury. The updates were somewhat positive. I guess the fact that they didn't put him on the injured list is encouraging, but, you know, this is now 2 days in a row that he has not played, and you wonder how long do they really want to go before deciding, let's just give him the next week off and make sure he gets healthy for the stretch run.
Oh, I mean, I think that it made we talked about it a little bit yesterday after you left. It makes it a little easier for Mike Shildt to get guys in the lineup. Of course, you don't want Jackson Merrill ever out of the lineup, but if he's injured, it kind of gets the Wolves, keeps the Wolves at bay a little bit, Benny, because then you can move things around and get guys like Ryan O'Hearn, who is they have not lost a game with him in the starting lineup yet. And I did find it interesting. Somebody tweeted yesterday. I was like, that's pretty funny. And I know it's not. It basically said, interesting that a guy who's basically rides the pine slots right into the number 4 slot when they do decide to play him. Like, you got a cleanup hitter essentially sitting on your bench. And I get the matchups, I get all that. But at this point, with Jackson being out, Benny, makes it a lot easier to get him in. And lo and behold, he produced again. So just a guy I really like. Love seeing him in there. Love seeing Laureano in there. I love what these guys bring to the table, man, every single game.
I really did. I think O'Hearn in the fourth spot was a great place for him. And I would like to think that even when Jackson Merrill comes back, that you might want to keep Ryan O'Hearn up there at that point in the lineup. Jackson Merrill, I think, profiles well the way he's been playing as more of a 6-7 hitter at this point. And I think your best lineup includes Jackson Merrill, obviously, but maybe not in the top 4 in the order anymore after the acquisitions that you've made earlier this season. We can continue to discuss whether Luis Arraez should be hitting second. At this point, I think the answer is clearly no.
Right.
As much as we love Luis Arraez, and he can give you a 3-hit game at any moment, and he will. He'll give you some more 3-hit games.
He just did the other day.
The rest of the season.
Yeah.
To me, Luis Arraez projects right now in his current state as more of a bottom third of the order, a really, really good bottom third of the order hitter. And if you wanted, you could move Ramon Laureano up into your top 4 as well and take advantage of, 2 of your hottest hitters that you both acquired at the All-Star break and get them, more at-bats earlier in the game. And perhaps the injury to Merrill will be the excuse that Mike Schilt can use to kind of make a change that he didn't want to necessarily shake things up too much with his team having played so well since the All-Star break. But now he's kind of got that opportunity to mix things up without it looking like a demotion to anyone in his lineup.
Well, it's certainly a scarier looking lineup, I think, with O'Hearn and Gavin Sheets in it against a right-hander. Gavin Sheets hit the hardest ball of the night for a double, 111 or 113 off the bat, absolutely torched one. He's got that in him, and with consistent ABs, I mean, again, it puts a little bit more fear into pitchers when they know they have to go through some guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, this team is second to last in Major League Baseball in home runs right now. So yes, they scare you in that they can string hits together and they're pesky and they can do things like that. But as far as hitting the ball out of the ballpark, man, a lot of the nights you got 2 of the best guys at it sitting on your bench.
Meanwhile, Jake Cronenworth sat out after getting plunked in the tricep elbow area on Monday. And it's such a good thing that the Padres have had Jose Iglesias, especially the second half of the season. He got off to a bit of
no doubt
a slow start, but he has come up with a lot of big hits, big at-bats, had another one yesterday with the bases loaded. We can go through it, but had him in for Jake Cronenworth, sitting in that 8 slot, very valuable guy to have on your roster. So, yeah, I was happy. I don't think we'll see Gavin Sheets. I just don't think there is, when everyone's healthy, regular playing time for Gavin Sheets, unfortunately. But, it's good to have at least one power bat coming off your bench when you're down 2 or 3 and you got a couple guys on base and, you're at the bottom of the orders up and you can hit for someone with an opportunity to get a big 3-run home run. It's good to have at least one of those guys on your bench late in the game. And I think ultimately that's going to be Gavin Sheets' role going forward for the Padres.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We wanted a longer bench, and he certainly makes the bench longer and a little bit more terrifying, knowing he has the ability to yak one out of there at any time. Really, really hits the ball really hard. And, like I said, did so last night and helped this team to a victory. So, yeah, you never want to see Jackson go down. You want him out there, for his defense, for the potential of what is there offensively for Jackson. He's been really unlucky this year. He's hit a lot of balls hard that haven't found gaps, that have found gloves on spectacular plays. He's gotten very unlucky. So I want Jackson in there for sure. I do think he profiles. I mean, how scary is that? Him in the 6 hole or something. I think that's really, really solid.
All right, that's a quick look at the lineup. We'll go through the game specifically with our Padres wrap up right after a check of Kelly's traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the California Office of Traffic Safety. Continues to be a pretty quiet one on our freeways at this time. In fact, looks like tow truck has just gotten a stalled vehicle out of the left lane on the Coronado Bridge, heading over to the island just before mid-span, so you might see a little residual slowing.
Speeding is dangerous to other drivers, to people walking or biking. Speeding catches up with you. Tickets, crashes, or even worse, slow the fast down. Safe speeds save lives. Go safely, California. From the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
I love winning, man. love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
Oh, yes.
It's the
Padres wrap up.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
I want to go fast, but I want to go slow, and I want to go deep.
A little bit of a different batting order, of course, for the Giants against the right-handed starter. As Lee sends one in the air to deep right center field, Fernando is back. He is at the wall looking up. This one gonna go. Different lineup, same result. Elliot Ramos, a leadoff homer on the fourth pitch of the game last night. And now Jung-Hoo Lee, a leadoff home run on the second pitch of the game. Here tonight, it's 1-0 Giants. Set up beautifully with a rise at second. Tatis at third, nobody out. A lot of ways to get a run home. And Manny grounds this one slowly towards third. That'll do it. Schmidt has it. The throw to first base is in time. Either way, Tatis comes in to score. And the Padres have tied it up 1-1. 0-2 again to Iglesias. Bases loaded, one out. Here's the pitch from Tang. Swung on line into left field and a base hit. O'Hearn will score to give the Padres the lead. An RBI single for Jose Iglesias, and it's 2-1. Runners lead at all three stations. 3-0. Here's the pitch. Tatis takes outside, ball 4. A bases loaded walk to bring Sheets home, and it's 3-1. 2-2 to O'Hearn. Bivens deals, and Ryan Woods rips one into right center field. That's down to the base hit. Manny's rounding third. He's on his way. O'Hearn will be held to a single as Gilbert's throw comes into second base, but an RBI knock for Ryan O'Hearn, and a 4-1 Padre lead. Pitch to Arise, grounded back to the mound, fielded by Seymour, goes to second, and that's all they'll get as Diaz comes home. Throw was wide, but a good job by Fitzgerald to somehow keep his foot on the base, and the Padres have a 5-1 lead. 2-2 to Bailey. Seventh pitch of the at-bat, and he sends it in the air to pretty deep left field. Laureano's backing up, fielding for the wall, on the track, hops up, and he makes the catch to end the game. Padres' mini skid comes to a close as Suarez works a 1-2-3 top of the ninth inning. And the Pods, a 5-1 win over the Giants in workmanlike fashion here tonight.
Pitch like Nick pitches, almost regardless. Threw a lot of quality strikes. I love the fact that, we get dinged right off the bat, and it's happened more recently, and nobody hung their head, and especially Nick, the guy on the mound that has the ball, and you look up, and that's the only blemish that he gave up through 6.
Fantastic work, man. Fantastic work from Nicky P last night.
And by the way, great job scoring in the bottom of the first inning to erase that 1-0 deficit. And then when the Padres scored in the bottom of the fourth, 2 runs, they finally had a lead. It was nice to see the Padres ahead in a game because it had been a minute since we had seen the Padres actually have a lead to protect and get to that bullpen and turn it over to Adrian Morejon, Jason Adam, and Robert Suarez. Didn't even need the save since it was a 4-run game, but Mike Schilt has that luxury of protecting leads. That's the formula. A decent starting pitching performance, get 4-5 runs on the board, get a 2 or 3 run lead, or 4-run lead, hand it over to the bullpen. Padres are almost unbeatable if they can do that, and they're going to do that from time to time. The question is, how often can they do it, and will they be able to do it in the postseason? But yeah, last night's formula I thought was perfect.
I mean, you said what did you say about his start? I thought it was outstanding. Nicky P went 6 full innings, struck out 10, gave up 3 hits, bounced back from that leadoff home run, and was just spectacular. And again, offense, you get a little nervous. You get second, third, nobody out. We scratch one across on a kind of a swinging bunt by Manny, but gets the job done. And, then the offense breaks out a little bit, but bullpen lights out. I mean, just absolutely lights out. Morejon, Adams, Suarez come in, knock it down. Phenomenal formula. But you got to get a win, or you got to at least be, within one, Benny, to activate that super pen. And they did it last night. They called on, 3/5 of the fist, and they got it done.
The one thing that the Padres didn't do last night, and really has been the biggest differential, what they didn't do during the 4-game losing streak, what they didn't do during the 4-game losing streaks that they had done earlier in the season, was hit with runners in scoring position. And to me, I think it's like for most teams, it's generally the thing that tells you whether they're winning or losing. Last night, the Padres actually won despite going 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position. You're going to need to do better than that. The Padres are close to unbeatable. When they can hit, 4 for 9 or, 3 for 6 even, or 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position, they're going to win because they get a lot of opportunities generally with runners in scoring position. They get on base pretty well. They get guys over well because they're a good base running team and get guys on second and third. So it just is a matter of how consistently can they hit with runners in scoring position. Didn't really happen last night. I mean, their first run came on a Manny out. It was an RBI grounder, but that's an 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position. I think it was just the Iglesias single and the O'Hearn RBI single. And those were the only 2 hits they had in their 14 chances. So that was a game where you could have scored 10, 11 runs. You settled for 5. You didn't need any more because Nick Pivetta was so good, but there'll be other games where maybe, Nestor Cortez is on the mound or Yu Darvish was a little inconsistent. Sears. And like JP Sears tonight, where you're going to need to have that 8-9 run output, and that requires hitting with runners in scoring position.
Well, and, again, credit to the top of the lineup last night. Everyone had knocks, O'Hearn and Machado with multiple knocks. All 4 of the top guys drove in a run one way or the other. Pretty fantastic stuff. A good recipe for success. You got to find a way to repeat it today. And I was looking at the piece, the daily that Kevin Acee sent out this morning, and I have lost it. Do you have it handy? Let's talk about the arms that they are going to be facing soon, and they're going to have to really figure out a way to get it dialed up. And it's funny, watching the kid last night, baseball is such a game of adjustments. They just saw this kid, they lit him up. So what did that kid do? He went back in the lab and tried to figure out a way to attack these guys a little differently. And we're going to be facing Landon Raup, who absolutely torched us. How do we adjust to what he did? So that's kind of the chess match that we're going to need to figure out, and we're going up against some really nasty arms in the next.
Yeah, I got it right here. So
you got it.
Probably the easiest matchup in the next 8 days is Justin Verlander tomorrow, because as you said, Raup was really good the last time he faced the Padres, and then it's the Dodgers.
But look at Verlander lately.
He's got a 2 ERA over his last 5 games.
Starts,
so, he's been pitching much better lately. Then the Dodgers will throw Snell, Glasnow, and Yamamoto at you. And then you've got the Mariners, who have one of the best starting staffs in baseball. Logan Evans, who dominated the Padres earlier this season, Luis Castillo, and Brian Wu. So you're facing a really murderer's row of pitchers. But I don't know, to me, Woods, I think it has a lot more to do with the Padres on most nights than the pitchers that they are facing. Just like you said, Kai-Teng Wen, if they have, they murdered him a few days ago. They were only able to put 1 unearned run on the board, in the first couple innings. They ended up getting the 2 after he came out of the game there in the 4th. But I don't think necessarily, we've seen bad pitchers dominate the Padres. We've seen the Padres get runs against good pitchers. It feels more like, how are the Padres performing at the plate is much more important than how the pitcher is facing them is doing on any given night. I know it's all interrelated, obviously, but to me, you're not expecting to go 8-0 in those 8 games. I would think, that you're going to face a couple of gems over the course of those next 8 games, but you don't have to. You just have to, find a way to hopefully, win these next 2 would be nice, and at least you'll be within 2 of the Dodgers, even if they do beat the Rockies the next 2 days. Go into that series down 2. And then if you can win that series against the Dodgers, you'll be at the least 1 game out with a month to go. And to me, that feels like a great spot for the Padres to be in going into the last month of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead. You got a tough customer on the mound tonight that, you're going to need to find a way to adjust and figure out how he pitched you last time and what he's going to do now. And you saw a kid make adjustments last night against you, flummoxed you for a little bit last night. And again, you kind of waited out. Padres are pretty decent at playing rope-a-dope, kind of letting the game come to them. They are kind of a late arriving team, which is, can be a little nerve-wracking for fans at times, but it's worked more often than it hasn't this year. And, the record's good. Their positioning is good. But these next, what did you say? 8 days, 8 games are going to be a bit of a gauntlet, which is, listen, when you get to the playoffs, that's what you face. You face the teams number 1 and number 2. That's what you get. So pretty good test for the fellas.
Yeah, and we always knew. I mean, we talked about it like a month ago when we went through the schedule for the second half of the season. Pretty nice schedule for the Padres, except for there's this 2.5 week stretch where they got to face the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Mariners. And that's going to be the gauntlet that they have to run through in the second half of the season. So far, they're 4-4 in the first 8 games of that gauntlet. Yeah. That we knew was going to be the toughest part of the schedule after the All-Star break. I'd like to see them do better than 500, but 500 is not a horrible outcome for that gauntlet, especially at 4-4 at this point. If they ended up whatever it is, 8-8, or I don't know if it's 17 games. I think it is 16 or 17. 8-8 is not necessarily a bad thing when you're going through your absolute toughest 2.5 week stretch of a schedule in your second half of the season.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. You just kind of got to ride the wave of the 4-game streaks. Those can't happen. The 4-game losing streaks, but if you can find a way to play that brand of baseball, even win one, lose one is fine. It's absolutely fine, man. But you have to be, Schilte's got to be planning ahead for every single series. So they're going to have to be judicious on how they use their pen. These are truly the dog days. I mean, we're feeling them as the broadcasters for this team, right? Like, these are the dog days. I can't even imagine how these cats feel right now. And then it starts to ramp up in September. The schedule eases up a little bit. And the division, that's the goal, is keep the division in sight. And it's still very much in sight right now. I know we have lost sight of that over the last 4 games, last night notwithstanding. It's still right there for us.
Yeah, keep in mind that if the Padres go 500 the rest of the way, which I think we'd all be pretty disappointed. When you look at the schedule, the Padres have a lot of teams remaining that are done. They're out of it. They're going to be playing young kids. 500 would be, I think, a really disappointing way to end this season. They'll still get to 88 wins, which is always really in the 3 wild card era been good enough to make the playoffs at 88 wins. Fangraphs is projecting 88 wins is good enough this year to get into the playoffs. You don't know that for sure, but that's if they go 500, and we'd all be pretty disappointed by that. Yeah. So, I think you're right in terms of the target is still the Dodgers. The target is still winning the division. Now, that could take 96, 98 wins, depending on how well the Dodgers play. So you're going to need to go on a nice run. You're going to need a winning streak here or there, and you're going to need to play consistent baseball. But in terms of the panic, we can tamp it down a little bit. AC had a great line. He said, the Padres, the longest 4-game losing streak in the history of mankind, came to an end yesterday. But it did feel that way, I think, among Padres fans, that it just was like, it felt so much longer than it was because it came against the Dodgers. The way that they lost the games just felt like they were it just felt like it was like weeks since the Padres last won a game. When, a 4-game losing streak, those happen all the time. Padres have 4 of them already this season. Yeah. The Dodgers have some. I mean, everyone has 4-game losing streaks. That one just felt particularly long and intolerable.
Yeah, it really was. It was pretty excruciating. And, you'd love to keep the good momentum rolling tonight. Giants, look, they came to play. They came to be aggressive. They have something to prove yet. I know they still think they're not out of it. So it's not like they have nothing to play for either. It's going to be a long, tough stretch for them. But, we've got 3 games against the Dodgers too, right? Like, it's keep it in your hands. Keep it within striking distance, and let's see what happens this coming weekend.
I mean, they're 6.5 games out at this point up from the Mets. They're kind of out of it, whatever they want to say. I mean, but those can be the dangerous teams, the spoilers with nothing left to do except individual things. They tend to be dangerous as well. All right, we'll come back. How did Jesse work the incorporator into yesterday's game next on The Fan? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Padres got zero help yesterday. But fortunately, they're in a position where they don't need help as long as they take care of business. And the Padres took care of business last night with a 5-1 win over the San Francisco Giants. But what's the rest of baseball? Well, everybody that is contending for the playoffs in the National League got the win yesterday, including, of course, the LA Dodgers, who bounced back from their loss to the Colorado Rockies on Monday with an 11-4 win at Coors Field. Shohei Ohtani hit his 44th home run. So Padres remain 2 games back in the National League West race as they get ready for the big series at Petco Park this weekend. Elsewhere in the wild card race, the Chicago Cubs, a bit of a surprise here, swept a doubleheader from the Milwaukee Brewers. For the Milwaukee Brewers, they've been playing so well that those 2 losses match their total number of losses since July 27th, all in one day, as they lost 6-4 and 4-1. Now, they're way ahead for the first seed. So at this point, if you're a Padres fan and the Brewers are playing anybody else in the National League playoff chase, you just might as well cheer for the Brewers and let them pull away as far as possible. So the Cubs actually picked up a half game on the Padres and moved 2 games ahead for the first wild card spot in the National League by sweeping that doubleheader. I think they still have 2 more against the Brewers. This is a 5-game series to make up for an earlier rainout earlier in the season. So Cubs won twice. The Phillies won. They beat the Mariners 6-4. So they remain in the 2 seed right now in the National League playoffs. Ultimately, if you catch the Dodgers, you also want to catch the Phillies and try to get that bye in the first round of the playoffs. The Mets beat the Nationals 8-1. Juan Soto hit his 31st home run. And the Reds beat the Angels 6-4 with a 2-run 9th inning, snapping a 4-4 tie, which means the Padres remain 2.5 games up on the Mets, who have the 3rd wild card spot right now, and 3.5 games up on the Cincinnati Reds, who are the first team out. So as long as you stay ahead of either the Reds or the Mets, you are still in playoff position for the rest of the season. You have that 3.5 game cushion right now over the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, Reds are playing really, really good, man. Won 3 straight. It's nobody's going away. That's the thing, is you just got to keep maintaining where you're at. And yeah, the scoreboard watching, it started for me back in April, but it starts for most people right about now. This is where it gets a little bit dicey every single night, Benjamin.
So with the playoff chase going on here, obviously you're watching what's going on in each and every day. The Reds at 67. But the best thing about yesterday for the Padres is another day closer to the end of the season. And that's what you have. When you are in playoff position, you have the advantage of the calendar. And even if you don't make up any ground, even if everybody else wins, the goal now is to get, as many games as possible toward the end of the season and just run the clock out on the teams that are chasing you. So in that sense, it still was a good day for the Padres yesterday because they got 1 game closer to the end. How many are left now? We got 126, which means 36 games remaining in the season for the San Diego Padres.
Man, luck can go right, luck can go wrong in 36 games, dude. It's again, I don't want to overstate how important that win was last night for everyone's psyche. Dropping 5 in a row would have been brutal. And again, credit to those guys, man, giving up that first batter bomb and not absolutely losing their minds and folding up the tents and scratching back and getting a run back ASAP, I thought was huge. And having Nicky P, I mean, look, he's the guy you can count on for this team. It's unfortunate he can't pitch every 3 days instead of 5, Benny.
Quick question about Nick Pivetta. You got him extremely cheaply for this year, if you remember the way the contract was structured.
That's got to be one of the pickups of the winter, right?
It absolutely
no
was.
Question.
Now, next year, he's going to be more expensive because the way they structured, I think his contract goes from like $4 million to $19 million or something next year because of how they kind of backloaded the contract. And then he can opt out, I believe, at the end of next season. If he has another good year, you figure Nick Pivetta is going to want to hit free agency again. And if he doesn't have a good year, he can opt into his contract for a 3rd and a 4th year. But then you're worried about, if he didn't have a good year, do you really want him? Is Nick Pivetta someone who you would consider at all thinking about trading in the offseason? I know this is way off. It was something that crossed my mind yesterday as I was thinking about it. You need starting pitching so badly. And I think even at $19 million, if he pitches like he does this year, that's That's still kind of a steal, at the going rates for starting pitchers right now. But when you pay a guy, you're going to pay him 5 times more essentially than you were paying him last year. It's a bit of a different math problem than it was this year when he's been so valuable for the San Diego Padres.
I guess I'd ask, who do you think is going to pitch next year? I mean, we're losing Cease, we're losing King, and
I think you'd have
Musgrove's
to,
coming
you'd
back
have
from
to
injury.
get back younger, controllable starting pitching in a deal.
I don't think so.
I think if you're going for it next year, you're probably just riding with Cease. with Pivetta. My guess is based on AJ Preller's history. I doubt anything will happen in the offseason. It was just something I thought of as he was pitching yesterday and wanted to get your thoughts on it.
So you're watching this guy twirl yesterday, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. You're like, can I trade this guy?
Yeah.
That's what I want. What's the best I could do to try. I want to trade Nick Pivetta while you're watching him spin this gem and be the stopper for the San Diego
Pick
Padres.
up his 13th win of the year.
How do I get rid of him?
Colonel Budget's always looking ahead at all the potential scenarios.
Chris made the good point. He said, you're wasting your off-season segments already. You went to the well 3 months early.
All right, let's go back to the incorporator then, because we need to pay that off. You guys set up Jesse yesterday after I left. Paulie, you got it for us?
Yeah, I do.
A word for you to weave into tonight's broadcast, and I think it's very fitting. Paulie, if you would.
Immolate.
Which is what
I used
our
that
fan
the other
base
day
is.
on the air.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
SOB.
my goodness.
Well, I can use it again. It was something I'm trying to remember whose bullpen we were talking about. It might have been the Dodger. Yeah, it was the Dodger bullpen after all their struggles against the Angels and before that. And I said something along the lines of, while the Dodger bullpen has been self-immolating as of late, they pitched well here this weekend. It was something like that.
So, of course, Jesse had already used the incorporator word in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, and I've heard that, when a team just basically does itself in, as Jesse said, they kind of self-immolated that inning. But no one really immolated last night. I mean, the Giants never totally messed up. There was a couple of small innings for the Padres offense, but nothing ever went off the rails. No team really was self-destructive in the game, so it didn't really lend itself to that sort of usage in the game. Unless
what happened in the bottom
game.
Of the 6th? Because that's where the incorporator.
The bottom of the 6th inning was, I think the Padres scored 1 run in the bottom of the 6th, but it was on a fielder's choice to the pitcher by Luis Ariz.
Run's a run.
So that doesn't sound like
that may have been the only opening that Jesse Agler needed. Here's how it sounded last night, right here on 97.3 The Fan.
Seymour comes set and ready. Ariz looking runner-ish, not going, and Machado sends it foul out of play right side, 1-2. The post-deadline trade version of the Giant bullpen has spent some time struggling, but you can't always expect them to self-immolate. And he takes up and in 2-2.
So that's the reversal. That's the, hey, it didn't happen last night, so let's point it out right here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, they have done it, but they're not doing it now. They're not currently self-immolating, which I thought it's a great word. And I when he said it, Benny, he said, I think I said it in the Dodger series, and it popped in my head. I go, I think I heard it, but it was such the word that was popped into my head yesterday. Our fan base, I mean, just those 4 games. That's some of the roughest, I think some of the roughest YouTube comments, Twitter comments, Blue Sky comments I think I've ever seen in the last 4 games.
Which is a little bit, I mean, I found it a little bit strange because there are other playoff contenders who are struggling even worse than the Padres. And I wonder, are their fan bases like immolating when that so the Astros right now, and the Astros are, let's see, they are currently a game and a half up on the Mariners, comfortably in playoff position, but they've been shut out 3 games in a row and 4 of their last 5, including a 1-0 loss to the Tigers. As their fan base, they're melting down right now.
Unquestionably, I saw I can't remember who their hitting coach is. It's a name that I know. Saw a couple. I mean, I follow some of the bigger accounts from, almost every team. And you go through and read the comments and dude, everyone's crazy right now. Everyone's crazy. Playoff baseball, the potential of playoff baseball makes you clinically insane. I think it's been proven. I think they did a study on it. It makes you clinically insane for a while. And how do you manage it? That's really the key. Is I talked yesterday after you left. Hey, man, you got – because I honestly, Benny, I got a tweet from a Padre fan that said he had 2 years sober. And he goes, this team is making – and I go, dude, it ain't worth it. A baseball team crushing 2 years of your hard work, I said it's just not worth it. So I don't know what it was in particular about those 4 games, other than 3 of them came against the LA Dodgers, which is it's almost like losing 3 games at a time. It's wild. And I just told this cat, I said, it is not worth it, man. Like, don't let a baseball team affect your sobriety, your mood, your relationship with your family, whatever it may be. As important as it is, and as much as we love it, it's not worth that.
But keep in mind.
So, yeah, it's everyone.
Well, but water finds its level. I mean, the Detroit Tigers struggled so badly around, the All-Star break just after. I mean, they were falling absolutely apart. Now they're playing well again. They've won 8 of their last 10. They've increased their lead back up to 9 games in the Central. The New York Yankees, I mean, their fan base was absolutely dying. They hit 9 home runs yesterday. They have lots of, good offensive players on their team. They're still in playoff position. The Cubs, I have a couple of Cubs fans.
9 home runs?
They had 9 home runs yesterday.
9. Yes. 9 in a game.
The Cubs fans, I have a couple of them that work with me at Channel 10. I mean, every single time I saw them, they're like tearing their hair out at the Cubs. They just swept a doubleheader from the best team in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers, and all looked pretty good in Cubs world yesterday. If they're able to do that, they'll be dangerous come playoff time, and they're certainly trending toward the playoffs with a 2-game lead at the top of the wild card standing. So all these teams and all these fan bases who were absolutely in the torture chamber within the last, couple of weeks, even within the last couple of days, they all emerge out of it and they start looking reasonably again. And I expect how things will be for the Padres fan base as well, hopefully in the next couple of days again.
This is interesting. House of Hoff in the chat says something to the effect, you just deleted it. It was a good message. He said, essentially, we had added some pieces. We weren't using those pieces. We were losing the games. And I agree. My counter to that would be, imagine if you picked up all of the players that like the Yankees added, or you're the Cubs and you didn't really add. The one guy you added got hurt. The Dodgers didn't really add anybody. They're playing, we got them right for sure. But imagine the flip side. The Yankees added 3 guys to their bullpen. I think every one of them's got an ERA over like 7 or 8. That is that's the worst. That's way worse than having some guys and being judicious with how you use them, is adding a bunch of pieces that come in and literally make your team worse for a while. So it can go the other way as well.
Yeah, ultimately, I feel like
I liked your message, Hoff. I don't know why you retracted it. It was good. It made sense to me.
I feel like complaining about the depth on a team is actually a really good sign. That
it is a good sign.
That your team is in good shape. If you can complain that you're not playing enough good players in your lineup because you have so many good players, my goodness, I mean, that's the dream. That's what we were hoping for. Early in the season, remember, there were 2 empty positions in the Padres' everyday starting lineup in left field and behind the plate that you were getting nothing from offensively. And now, Cadillac problems that you got to find enough time for Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano to get into the games. What about Gavin Sheets getting some playing time? That's what you're hoping for down the stretch. And if some guys get an extra day off here or there, and, Ryan O'Hearn isn't playing quite as much as you'd like, well, remember, that could pay dividends going forward as well, as you keep a lot of guys fresh into a very long season, into hopefully an October that lasts more than, a couple of games, and you're playing another 3-4 weeks, hopefully, of baseball at the end of the year. You've now, added some, freshness to your team's legs by being able to give more guys days off going forward.
Yeah, Joe said it. The Padres self-immolated against the Dodgers. Is that correct? That's the exact way that you want to use that word. And yes, I think that's exactly what they did against the LA Dodgers. And hopefully that trend does not continue this weekend when the Dodgers come to our house.
But again, like the Astros got shut out 4 times in 5 games. That's
crazy.
That's more of a self-immolation than losing 3 one-run games in 4 days. To me, that's baseball. That's not self-immolation. That's baseball not really going your way for a short stretch of time over the season. Self-immolation is when, we just saw this 9-1, and then we got 12-0, and then it was 6-2, and you're just getting bodied every single day. One-run losses are going to happen all the time, and occasionally they're going to string a couple of them together. And I don't think it's something that we need to circle in red, especially when it's an anomaly. And the Padres have played so well in close games and have one of the better records in one-run games in baseball and have a bullpen that should give you an advantage in those games. I think those games against the Dodgers are some of the more flushable games that you can look back and go, oh, well, played a really good team, lost some one-run games. Move on, turn the page going forward.
Yeah, Friday and Sunday's losses in LA, they didn't bother me as much as maybe they should have.
Saturday did not bother me as much.
Saturday was bad.
Saturday was the one. If they won Saturday and you still lose the series, you're feeling okay. You're like, man, that's 2 one-run losses on the road against a really, really good team that was supposed to win 150 games this year. And it just didn't happen. But it was the way like Saturday's loss like sandwiched in between there. The way he lost on Saturday, dropping balls, getting thrown out at second, giving up 6 walks in the first inning and a half. I mean, it was brutal, and that just compounded things.
But remember the games that the Padres, when they won 14 of 17, hottest stretch of the season that just happened, the 3 games that they lost were all horrifically bad. They had the 8-5 loss to the Cardinals where they blew the 4-0 lead that they had early in the game. That one was terrible.
Yep.
6-2 loss to the Diamondbacks in that game that, Brandon Pfaadt dominated the Padres. And, I mean, we all felt terrible. And then the Red Sox game, the 10-2 absolute drubbing. Those are 3 terrible games right in the middle of your best stretch of the season. Those games are inevitable. Every team plays them, usually once a week or so. Sometimes, if you're lucky, they only pop up once every 2 weeks, but you're not going to avoid the 6-0 loss to the Dodgers occasionally. Even when you're playing hot baseball, the bad games always happen in a Major League Baseball season.
Padres Pat in the chat said, I prayed for Ben's family multiple times yesterday, and he repays me by proposing to trade our controllable ace in Nick Pivetta. Ben,
wow.
He's not controllable. That's the thing. It's the opposite of controllable.
Well, I mean, you just have to pay him.
Well, yeah,
right?
You can pay anybody you want, that's a free agent to come play for your team. I'm saying he's an asset that you have, but may not have after next season. So just on the long lead calendar, something just to think about in the offseason.
Yeah, no bad ideas in brainstorming, huh?
No bad ideas. Just throwing it out there.
Everybody wants to know when we are going to talk about the 2 fans on the field yesterday. And that, of course, will come in Don't Do This, correct?
Yep, that is coming up next. Don't go away. Don't Do This follows on Ben Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, talk about SDFatLoss.com. I was just on the scale this morning, and I am proud of myself because it's now been over 2 years since I finished the program with SDFatLoss.com. I lost 40 pounds in the summer of 2023, and I have not gained a single pound back in the entire 2 years, thanks to the sustainable strategies that I learned when I was on the program from my counselor. It was about eating the right portions, the right times, but it was all real food. I was not buying any shakes or bars or meals from SDFatLoss.com. They don't sell them. You don't have the opportunity to do that. They want you to eat regular stuff, normal food from the grocery store. I ate a lot of chicken. I ate a lot of steak and vegetables, and I lost the weight fast, up to a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days when you follow the program. Learn how it can work for you by going to SDFatLoss.com, setting up a free consultation. They'll tell you there are no injections, there's no exercise necessary to lose the weight, and they will keep you on track throughout the 2 months, and then they will help you keep it off when you're done as well with their maintenance strategy. So many tier 1s have done this. My colleagues in this building have done this program. I think I feel like I'm one of the best success stories because I have never been able to keep the weight off, and I finally have done it. Thanks to SDFatLoss.com. Again, get your free consultation and take $200 off here in the month of August when you sign up for the program at SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Don't do this. Brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. I will get us started by going back to Petco Park last night. And guys, I don't remember one time this season or even in recent history seeing a fan interrupt a game by running onto the field at Petco Park. But it happened twice in a span of 2 innings last night. Now, I saw a video of one of them getting tackled by security out in right field.
There's a video of multiple.
I didn't see the other one, though. But someone said it was a streaker. Now, did they take their clothes off? Okay.
No.
You're using that term right.
And that they were running fast.
Okay, because a streaker to me implies you have taken at least most of your clothing, if not all of your clothing off. And I did not see any video of anyone taking their clothing off at Petco Park.
No, it was weird because it was a kid. I believe the first one was a kid. Now, usually you see somebody running out on the field and you go,
yeah, that's the one I didn't see. That was a young kid. My goodness.
You run out, you see them run out and you go, oh, well, obviously he's had a few too many Cutwaters at the game and they're going to run out. If this kid had any Cutwaters and ran on the field, we have some serious,
12
serious
or 13,
discussion.
Looks like.
Yeah, I don't know what
Where
got
is
into
parents?
him. I don't know.
Yeah, what
Probably
the hell
drinking
happened?
Cutwaters. Probably drinking Cutwaters, Benjamin.
What the heck?
Yeah, so I did see people, so they caught him pretty good, and then a guy came flying in with the late hit, and it would have been flagged on the late hit. But let me tell you, man, I'm glad that security did what they did because you got to take those threats seriously. I mean, the dude ran basically a circle right around Fernando Tatis Jr., and I think you don't know what somebody's capable of. I mean, do we not watch the news every single day? Like it was probably in good fun and just being an idiot like kids are. But holy cow, dude, like you have to be very, very careful and on your toes. And I think the security did a great job.
Well, I don't envy
hit.
security's job. If it's a normal, 32-year-old drunk guy and he gets leveled, like, taken out by three, tackled by 3 security guards, I have no problem with that whatsoever. When there's a kid who's clearly like 12 or 13 on the field, you still have to handle him you can't just
Correct.
Completely level them. This is still an underage person, so
one
you
of
have
the
to
professional-
treat it fairly gingerly when you're out there as well.
Yeah, one of the professional photographers working last night for Getty Images. I mean, it's up in our YouTube stream right now. This kid is just getting like laid out by the one guy behind him. He's got two other guys grabbing him. He's going right into one of the security guards' shoulders, and it's an insane photo.
I mean, look, the first radio show I ever worked on, the guy used to say all the time, you know who that doesn't happen to? It doesn't happen to the guy that ran on the field. The kid, the guy, the girl. The next one was a girl. So you had a little kid and a female running on the field last night. So I'm telling you, it was I have no problem. I think security did a great job. And, boy, I hope one of my kids never gets that bright idea. Even I managed to never run on the field at a baseball game, Benjamin, ever. So it was it better not be Bo in 5 years. I'll tell you, Bo is way too shy to do that. He does not like trouble, man. He does not like trouble, which is great. Our buddy Tommy Pham, who is he is back in the news. He had what I would call a pretty generational crash out on Twitter yesterday. Tommy is a very emotional guy. I would say we got to know him when he played here, but we didn't. We were always too afraid to speak a word to Tommy Pham, and I think for good reason. I think we made the right choice. But the other day he was playing a game. There was a pitch that he thought missed the zone, and the umpire thought it missed the zone. The catcher, Tyler Heineman, turned around and said something to the ump, like, "Hey, man, where'd that miss?" Tommy took offense to that. Next pitch is a ball. Tommy bat flips his bat on the walk. Tyler Heineman says, hey, what's the deal? Tommy says, F you. They start going at it. Bench is clear. Well, then people started going to they went to Tyler Heineman. They asked him. He said, I didn't say a word. I'm just as confused as you are about Tommy Pham and the bench is clearing. I don't even know him. No idea. Barely know who he is. It was weird. It was unprovoked and super weird. So Tommy Pham gets on Twitter. He said, bitching about a ball not being called a strike to an umpire when it's clearly below the zone and away is disrespectful. Not only the umpire, but the hitter as well. So like I said, when I flipped the bat, F him. at Keegan Matheson, dude has 2 years in the show. I know the zone. So then people started coming after Tommy, and he kept responding, and he kept responding. And then a Blue Jays fan tweeted him. He said, you're 37. You're acting like this on a non-playoff Pirates team. Just retire and start a family. Already, Tommy, tough knuckles. Tommy says, your profile pic is of someone who takes steroids, loser. And in his profile pic was what is the guy's name for the Blue Jays? Addison
Barger.
Addison Barger then had to make a statement. He said, I was never suspended for steroids. I was suspended for a stimulant, probably Adderall or something back in the day. So Tommy deleted the tweet.
I'm proud of myself.
He crashed out super hard on Twitter and is getting mocked. I mean, he's like one of the guys I wouldn't mess with. And I know I see people calling him a fake tough guy, but I heard an interview where
he's not fake.
I heard an interview where he said that he does Muay Thai.
I'm a very good fighter. I don't do Muay Thai, Kung Fu, and box for no reason.
That's right. That's right.
Now,
why am I'm not messing with that
Tommy
dude.
Pham. I do not care. I want to apologize.
The issue is the issue is not that Tommy's a tough guy. You need some tough guys, and I think teammates generally like that Tommy is ready to go swing it. In their defense at any moment. The problem with Tommy. And I'd hope that he even realizes this. He's one of those guys that is looking to be offended. Like he is looking to see disrespect in something that a catcher complaining to an umpire about a strike call or ball call is not intended to be disrespectful toward Tommy Pham. I'm sure catcher, managers from the dugout, they're going to chirp on close pitches.
It's like when a hitter would
get it to go their way.
It would when a hitter would pop one up on Madison Bumgarner, and they'd be like, "Damn it! That was my pitch. I should have hit that one better." And Bumgarner takes offense to that. How dare you think you could
someone
ever
who was
hit?
looking for disrespect where it didn't really exist. And Tommy looks for disrespect sometimes where I don't think it really exists, which makes him a bit of a hair trigger temper out on the field sometimes.
You should tweet that to him today.
I'm not going to
see how it goes. Say, hey, Tommy, I love you. I respect you. But it seems like you're always looking for a fight, and see how that goes. You remember me, Ben Higgins from 97.3 The Fan in San Diego. I will just say for the record, I love Tommy Pham, and I am.
You'd
did
be
enjoy
surprised.
The guy is
actually,
a Padres
I
legend.
like
He
Tommy
beat the
as
hell
well.
out of Jock Peterson when he wasn't even on the Padres anymore because Jock Peterson was talking crap. And come
about
on.
their fantasy football, right?
About fantasy football in the fantasy
I'm just not
football
gonna mess
league.
with him. I'm just not messing with him, dude. I'm just not. I think we should give an honorary "Don't do this" to Ben Higgins for trying to trade Nick Pivetta this morning.
Oh my God!
That we have to mention that again. I'm going to bring that up over and over. It's fascinating how your mind works. I'm fascinated.
Like you watched last night's game, 6 innings, dominant, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts, and you're like, how can we get this guy off of our roster?
Let's get him out of here
for some low prospects.
I'm not trying to trade for low prospects. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to jam the window open a little further of contention for your San Diego Padres. Nick Pivetta
is a loser.
Oh, man, I can't believe you said that.
I'm really like Legend Girlie said, hey, don't forget that Hosmer money's coming off. There's more money going on to Nick Pivetta than is coming off from Eric Hosmer next year. You've already
So
spent
you're still
all
trying
that
to.
money.
He's your best pitcher. He should get money.
You're
Give
still
him money.
trying. Why do you hate paying people?
Where would we be without Nick Pivetta?
He's going to do this again where it's like he's going to be like, oh, now I got to go to my checkbook and keep Nick Pivetta here. You don't. Remember, you don't have to go to your check. No one's garnishing your wages or anything.
Have you Venmoed Nick Pivetta yet today?
Man,
fine.
It's something we've been dealing with as a show for 7 years. A guy will have a monster week, and Ben's like, let's get rid of him, dude. ASAP.
Phillip Rivers is a loser.
Yeah, all that.
Hunter
That was
Renfroe
real,
is a loser.
It's funny how they all sound exactly the same. Paul.
I mean, they sound like you.
The inflection is
They're all the same
exactly
person.
the same every time.
They're all the same person. So
incredible.
All right, finally,
All right, let's do something
Eric
positive.
Hosmer
is a loser.
Some do
fair.
this.
DD mega
And I wanted to do this yesterday, but of course I left early and we didn't get a chance to get to it. I thought very cool on Monday night, little nostalgia from over 20 years. Rich Eisen was back on Sports Center because ESPN has bought the rights to his show, which means he was available to return to the anchor desk for the first time in over 20 years, and they made it full-on retro with the old theme music and the old cold open style.
How you doing?
Oh no, that's the wrong video.
That's
Hang
the
on.
wrong
Let me get
video.
the intro for you. I'm so
I
sorry.
like that one though. Hey, how you doing?
That's all right. We can.
That was one of the Sports Center commercials.
Oh yeah, they also
that they
did the
used to
Sports
do.
Center. This is Sports Center
Here we go.
commercials.
Ah,
Love
sounds
that
like a
music. I don't know why
child.
they ever got rid of it.
My childhood.
Tonight on Sports Center, the preseason Monday nighter.
Smooth jazz.
I mean, it sounds so.
All the
It
headlines.
sounded so good, but the end is where it really got you because, of course, Rich Eisen famously had a co-host for most of the Sports Centers over the years, and he took a moment to remember the late great Stuart Scott.
It has been a blast being here tonight, but listen, we all know there should be someone else right here in this chair next to me, right there, as he was for my 7 years in the role he referred to as my TV wife. And that's my dear late friend, Stuart Scott, who is indeed looking over my shoulder tonight. I frequently think of Stuart a lot and what he might think of the sports headlines of the day, like, say, Bill Belichick being the head football coach at his beloved school. We used to host Sports Centers after LeBron's high school games. So what would Stuart think of James still playing at age 40 with 40,000 points? And with all these new crossing of sports TV streams, like, say, ESPN buying NFL Network and partnering up with my daily show, what would it look like if Stuart sat in with, say, Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, and Charles when Inside the NBA comes here to ESPN this fall? I could go on and on because I miss Stuart so very much. He should be in that chair with me, with us tonight. And that's spirit.
Awesome stuff from the
incredible
Rich Eisen.
Incredible. I don't know how you got through it, man.
That was
Incredible.
Pretty amazing. That's Don't and Do This for Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
We're going to take a quick time out. Now, Rich Eisen brought something up there that ESPN, of course, has acquired the NFL Network. And there's also a rumor out that they are potentially buying MLB TV as well. I saw that yesterday. It's not confirmed.
I saw it too.
I mean, that could change a lot going forward. I want to talk about that when we come back, and some of the big changes maybe coming to baseball. You guys brought up the realignment talk from Rob Manfred a little bit. Baseball could look very different in the next couple of years if Rob Manfred has his way. We can talk about all of that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, gang, let me tell you about my beloved friends over at Sedano Ford and Lincoln in La Mesa. Labor Day is right around the corner. They are celebrating with, of course, you guessed it, an amazing Labor Day sale all month long. If you got a buck, get a truck. Lease the all-electric 2025 Ford Lightning for just $1 down and $349 a month. It is quiet. It is quick. It's built Ford tough to handle work days, weekends, everything in between. And you could take that same dollar and go all electric in the 2025 Mustang Mach E-Select, very sharp vehicle, just $310 a month. And if you've been waiting for a luxury upgrade, the Lincoln Corsair Premier is just $449 a month. Comfort, class, and confidence in every drive. Labor Day is about hard work. Your reward is waiting for you at Sedano Ford and Lincoln in La Mesa. Stop by and see them at their dealership today, or go to sedanoford.com to lock in these Labor Day savings all month long. You can check out the inventory there as well. When you do go, let them know Woodsy sent you. For more details, again, check out Sedano Ford or sedanolincoln.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples. Calling all parents and teachers at Staples. Your back-to-school budget is officially saved by the button, the easy button, with supplies as low as 25 cents, plus laptops up to 40% off, and more deals on top brands and trending styles. Find it all at Staples. That was easy. So you guys talked a little bit about potential baseball realignment yesterday. I've seen a lot of speculation.
Monday, actually.
Oh, Monday.
We saved it for you to talk about yesterday, but it was after you had already left.
So I've been looking at people doing their, making their 4-team divisions all over baseball. And I think they've kind of gotten it wrong as to what baseball is going to do, because for the most part, they've kept the National League and American League structure, and they've just kind of geographically tightened up 4-team divisions with expansion, with a couple of more teams added. A lot of people think it could be Portland and Nashville. We don't know that for sure. But I think what baseball is going to do, Woods, is much more radical. And there's going to be pushback from traditionalists who don't want to see it. But I think the National and American League might go away in the next couple of years. There won't even be that separation that we have, gotten used to for now over a century in baseball. Because if you really want to make realignment work, what the players and managers and teams would like is probably to play a lot less travel, play way more games against teams in your side of the country. Rob Manfred even hinted at that when he talked about it on Sunday, that, the time zone thing is a real mess. Having East Coast teams come into the West Coast, 5 times a year to play series that don't start until 10 o'clock local time on the East Coast doesn't make a lot of sense TV-wise and financially for their fans. And honestly, on the West Coast, we don't mind when games start at 3:40 in the afternoon, but there's a lot of people who can't watch those because they're not home from work until 6 o'clock or later. So they're missing those.
But if the Padres
games
had to travel to Hawaii 4 times a year or whatever, and those games didn't start until 9:40 at night, we'd all lose our minds.
Exactly. So what I think is coming is a much more significant realignment of 16 teams, like on the western half of the country, and 16 more in the eastern half, where you play an unbalanced schedule. You play way more games against the teams on your half of the country, and then you have like an Eastern and Western conference, like the NBA and NFL and NHL do, and those 2 teams will then meet in the World Series at the end of the year, not the American and National League champion. So you could have a scenario in the future where the Dodgers or the Padres, could play the Mets in the World Series, or the Dodgers could play the Phillies in the World Series, as opposed to the traditional National League versus American League winners meeting at the end of the season.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it really at all. The one remark I said, Paulie played the audio of Rob Manfred talking, and the only thing that put me back on my heels is when he talked about essentially, we think it'll be good for the players. And anytime he says that, Benny, I go, what's in it for you? That's the first thing I think. Like, what's in it for you? What's in it for your owners? Player care. I don't get the sense is something that I mean, it's something that you say, but I don't know. It would be certainly odd, right? It would be very, very odd to see, but it does make some sense to me, splitting them up. And of course, you're going to add a team on the West Coast. You're going to add a team maybe to the Midwest / the South / the East Coast. I'm okay with it. 16 against 16, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. Could be interesting.
So I think there's still some room. I would imagine that the best way to do it would be to go to more of an NFL model where you're playing the teams in your conference, every year. You're playing your teams here in the division, maybe 4 series. You play your teams in your conference, 2 series. And then in the other conference, maybe you play one half of them, 1 series. And then I thought you could even do a strength of schedule thing where every year your opponents would be determined by where you finish. Like the first and second place teams would play first and second place teams from the other division. That would have a way of balancing out some of the schedule. So, teams that finished poorly one year would have an easier schedule like they do in the NFL with a couple of their games. I think everything is on the table right now. I do think it's better for the players, honestly. I mean, one of the biggest complaints I think you and I, Woods, over the years here is the travel is a grind. And if there's any way where they can, put less miles on their body over the course of the year, I think that would be a good thing. And I don't know what, owners are going to get the expansion fees from the new, the 2 new cities. That's something that they want, obviously, and to look forward to. But other than that, I think he's saying that because he's going to get blowback from fans. There are going to be traditional baseball fans who go, I don't want to see the American National League model go away. I don't want to see teams changing divisions and breaking up some rivalries that have been going on for so many years. People are losing their mind about the idea that the Mets and the Yankees could be in the same division because they're close. So they play much more often, maybe like 4 series a year as opposed to just an interleague matchup. And I think he's bracing everybody for the fact that change and likely big change is coming here in the next few years.
Interleague sucks. I'm over it. I mean, I really am. It doesn't do anything for me. Again, I explain why it's so important. The interleague play. It was kind of cool when it happened years ago.
Well, I think
I like it better now than it was. Like I like it. I didn't like how you had different rules in different leagues. That made no sense.
I want the opportunity to see my team play against Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I would imagine that America, a Kansas City fan wants to see Shohei Ohtani come play at his ballpark, every couple of years. And if you don't have interleague play, you may never in your lifetime. I never in my lifetime until they had interleague play got to see the Padres play like against a George Brett because that didn't happen. There was no chance to ever see him come to to Qualcomm Stadium, to the Murph, and no chance to see the Padres go there. I think interleague was an obvious improvement to baseball.
I mean, if you think about like how the NBA does it, because the NFL, it's 17 games, you just can't really compare. It's apples and oranges with an MLB season. But in the NBA, you have 82 games, and they have the 2 conferences, and you will play every team. I think it's a home and away series, or 1 game there, 1 game at your place, with every team in the league, including the opposite conference. But you just play more games against teams on your side of the country. And I think that I don't have a problem with that. It seems too radical for Major League Baseball to make that change, but I don't not like it.
It's just the novelty, I guess, is worn off a little bit. Like Lou said, they've already ruined it by having interleague games on the opening day.
Well, that's math. I mean,
I just don't even think of it as interleague play anymore.
You've got 15 teams in each league, so you can have seven National League games, 7 American League teams, and you have 1 team left over in both every year.
Yeah.
So you have to have interleague play every single series of the season. There's always an interleague series because that's just the math of it. You used to have 16 teams in one league and 14 in the other,
but like because the rules are no longer different. When the Padres are in Houston, I don't view it as interleague play. I just view it as they're playing the Astros.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't take into account getting to for the other fans, right? The other fans getting to see Fernando Tatis Jr. or Manny or whatever. Yeah. But we've done it. We've done it. I'm down for realignment, and actually, I'm down for radical realignment.
I think it's coming.
I wouldn't surprise me.
All right, we got to quickly check traffic, and then I want to get into the other big story about potential media rights for baseball coming up next year on The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Oceanside Police Department, now hiring public safety dispatchers. Got a few problems this time around, guys. One of them is this accident on northbound 5 right before H Street. Motorcycle involved in this one. Got the second lane from the left blocked. Also, northbound 125 at Spring Street, another crash involving a motorcycle. Left lane blocked for you there. And crash on eastbound 52 right at the southbound 5 connector ramp. That's over to the right shoulder. The Oceanside Police Department is hiring public safety dispatchers, earn up to $87,000 a year. Lateral bonus is up to $11,000. 12-hour shifts, 3-day work weeks, paid holidays, benefits, and retirement. Apply at joinopd.net. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we've only got a minute or so here, Woods, but I just want to warn you. You're probably going to have to, the man who pays for all the cable and all the streaming services, I think you're going to have to probably pay for another expensive one coming up pretty soon if you're a sports fan. It's going to be almost unavoidable in the future.
Save this because the music is here.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in the second half of the program. We will look ahead, obviously, what the Padres have coming up here against the Giants and more. Stick around. More Ben and Woods.
I found my diary.
Oh, and Woods found his,
you found
his
your
old,
diary.
like your dear diary?
I have a diary.
Coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Sounds a little differently than it usually does. I'm broadcasting live from my parents' house in Lindale, Texas. Way, way far away. Very, very warm. Very warm today, and usually is in August. I'm Woodsy. Paul Reindel's the executive producer, and Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. So, gentlemen, I don't know.
I'm stunned by this revelation that you kept a diary. What age range did you actually keep a diary?
So I was forced to keep this diary. It's a travel journal. My family did a big trip. This is April, Ben, of 1989. I would be 14 years old.
So you didn't do an all-time diary like the
no.
I talked to Tiffany in school today. I'm really hoping that she goes to the prom with me sort of diary. So you didn't do that. Okay. That's what I was picturing.
But my mom and dad got this brilliant idea of going on our first big family trip, like a big one, right? We were going over to London in spring of '89. And my dad said, I want you and your brother to keep a journal. And I said, I don't want to keep a journal. He said, I need you to keep a journal. So I said, okay, I'll keep a journal. So I did. You got a few entries in here, and I found it this morning. I'm like, why do you guys have this? But I'm kind of glad that they did. And I thought you guys might get a kick out of this. Are you ready for some of this?
I can't wait.
All right. Are you ready? Here we go. When we got on the plane, we had to sit apart from each other. It was a 6.5-hour flight, very long, that we lived on the East Coast at that time. We saw Working Girl. It was okay. When we got here to London, we got to our hotel. It's awesome, but it doesn't have a pool or an exercise room. Noted exerciser Stephen Woods. Geez, there's some weird people here. There's a lot of punks. We ate lunch at Wimpy's and went to Buckingham Palace and saw 2 red guards. We also saw the Hard Rock Cafe. It was packed. We went to a Broadway play. Starlight Express was what it was called, and it was awesome. Everyone was on roller skates. We ate at the Spaghetti House. It wasn't so bad. I mean, this is really brilliant. These are really brilliant musings from
I smell a Pulitzer in your future.
Hold on. You went and saw Starlight Express, in the London Theater District. I mean,
correct.
The original probably production way back when. That's impressive.
Well, Elisa makes the point, too. Remember when everyone had to watch the same movie on the plane? Oh. That's exactly right.
Oh, man. Torture.
We watched
Working Girl. Melanie
Girl.
Griffith, right? Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, it was
Harrison
okay.
Ford. Yeah.
Was my review. Then I said, this is fantastic. I got my money, $3, changed to pounds and pences. $3 American, 1.64 pounds. I had $3 on me at 14 years old, which is incredible. Next day is a very short entry. Then there was, today was the best day by far. This is 4/17/89. First, we went to Buckingham Palace. We really went to Buckingham Palace a lot. And we saw the changing of the guards. After this, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe. It was awesome. It had Robbie Krieger's guitar from The Doors, Jimi Hendrix's guitar, Les Paul Custom, and my favorite, a Doors autographed picture. We had a burger and fries, and I got a few pins at the Hard Rock. We went to the merch store, and me and Brent, my brother, got a T-shirt. After this, we went to Harrods, but I got lost in it. Then
Harrods
came
is the big department store in London.
Yeah, then came the boring part. We had to go to the Victoria Allen Museum. It was so stupid. Then on to the Museum of Natural History.
What a wordsmith.
Which was okay. My favorite part, we ended the day with dinner at Pizza Hut, by the way, in London. Pizza Hut.
Oh, man.
So
Absolutely.
you're out of the country to experience someone else's culture, and your meals are at Hard Rock Cafe and Pizza Hut. Could you be an uglier American?
Don't forget Wimpy's, whatever that is. Pizza Hut in London is crazy, as K-Law says. It's crazy. My dad is probably in there cringing right now. Well, you little jerks didn't want to eat anything else.
Well, I do. When you're traveling with kids, and anything that is familiar with them is probably what you're probably searching for at that point, just to keep your kids happy. So I understand that.
Pizza.
Also, London has become known as one of the great food cities in the world, but back in the 80s, I think the reputation had been well earned that British food just wasn't very good.
That's true.
And you weren't a foodie traveling to England to get the best meal of your life. You were there for the sightseeing and the history for sure. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass. You loved the Hard Rock Cafe, though. I mean, you had more to say about the Hard Rock Cafe than pretty much the rest of your trip combined.
I thought it was, and I found about 1 million pictures of me posing in front of pictures there. Guitars, all the things that I mentioned. I've always been a music head. Back then is where it kind of started. And yeah, just to look back at those pics, man, memory lane for sure. And I found this thing. I mean, it is jagged, like the wires coming out of it. There's all total 5 entries in it total. I mean, it's just more of the same. I can't believe I finished with a degree in English writing like that. We went to this. It was okay. Then we went to here, and it was boring. Like, I was a 14-year-old kid who, 7-8 years later, Ben would have a degree in English. It's pretty nuts, the individual growth. But reading back there, man, it is just insane. No, Jay, I did not find any of my old penthouses. I think my dad has kept those for himself. He's got them hidden somewhere in the house. But didn't find any of that. But, man, I got some
dig around, see if you can find those. I mean, those are probably worth some money now.
Probably, but it's some good memory lane type stuff being at home, looking through all the photo albums, man. It is pretty nuts. But yeah, I carried with me a whopping $3 over there, and then ended up with 1.64 pounds. Yeah,
probably went a long way back then, though.
Probably did. But it was really something. And I love to list everywhere we ate. Wimpy's, Pastrifica. We had dinner there one night. I don't know what that is.
Like pasta terrifica,
yeah, something like that. But
there hasn't been a single English, no fish and chips or anything. No, nothing like that.
We did not do any. We did not assimilate even a little bit at all when we went over there.
But I wonder if that happens when other people travel to America on vacation from other countries. Like a family from China comes to America, but all they go and find is Chinese food, so they can eat similarly to back at home. Although I'd imagine our Chinese food is nothing like theirs. So.
It's all, when I travel too, and I just went to England, and I got to say, the food didn't improve very much. At least the breakfast was maybe the worst I've ever had in my life. The runniest eggs you could ever imagine, the worst yogurt that you could ever have. I just ate steak. I ate steak for every single meal when I was over there, and they did a nice steak, so I can't really complain.
And then you were done once you got home. There was no more journaling or diaries.
That was it.
After that.
The last diarying and journal I ever did in my entire life. And I remember my dad handing me the journal with a pen in it and was like, "You're doing this." And I'm like, "For what? What's the purpose of this?" And who knew, 1989 to 2025, Bennett would come in handy and, kill 9 minutes on a radio show. But it is weird. I had better handwriting back then than I do now. But it was really something. I got little stuff stapled in here. I have my boarding pass stapled in here. I was in seat 50F, which was, by the way, the smoking section. And that is a true story. I will hold it up to the thing. I sat in 50F, and it was the smoking section on the plane to England.
Can you even imagine getting on a plane today and a guy 2 rows in front of you lighting up a cigarette?
Just heating it.
And it wasn't so much. I mean, it happened, and sometimes you had to sit in the smoking section because that was the only seat left on the flight that you could purchase. The worst, though, was when you pick the non-smoking section, like you're in row 23, but the smoking section starts in row 24. So
you're still screwed.
It's not like you're in the non-smoking section. The smoke doesn't stay in the smoking section of the plane.
Just imagine in the year 2025, getting on a plane, walking down, sitting down in your seat, and you're walking to put your bags up and find your spot, and a guy just rips a Pall Mall out of his pocket and just and fills that claustrophobic tube with cigarette smoke, and it's incredible. I don't remember those days. I flew a little bit back then. I don't remember, Ben. I just remember everything smelled like cigarettes back then. The 80s just smelled like cigarettes.
Was it Philadelphia where we were smoking in bars?
Yeah,
there were a couple bars where people could smoke in bars.
Wild in and of itself. I can't even wrap my head around being on an airplane and seeing that.
It was pretty wild, but it's crazy, man. You know, the going down memory lane here, being around all these old pictures, and there's some pictures of me in college that are unbelievable. There's some pictures of me when I was a kid. That identical bow. I sent it to Hannah this morning. She goes, "Oh my God, that facial expression." I go, "It's crazy. It's crazy."
So
I'm enjoying it, man.
Do you bring that stuff back with you? Do you leave it with them? Do you ever want it for yourself?
No, I don't. I'm going to put the diary back where I found it. I was just poking around this morning and found it. I had no idea it still existed. So I thought, it would be interesting. Geez, there's a lot of weird people here. There's a lot of punks. That was back in the day. Those, all the Mohawks and the dudes would walk around with safety pins all in them, and I thought it was pretty cool to see. It was very much like European Vacation, if you've seen that movie. It was pretty crazy. My first international trip at 14.
All right, we didn't get to play yesterday, so glad we can play a game of Take on Woods coming up next. If you want to get online, be our contestant during the break, you can call in at 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas, where they still do some smoking there as well, if I'm not mistaken. 833-288-0973. Our musical trivia challenge is coming up. Plus, some good news for your San Diego Padres that we haven't gotten to, but I want to bring that up when we come back after a check of traffic. Don't go away. Ben and Woods continuing on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, talking about Prize Picks, daily fantasy for everybody. I got into Prize Picks about a year ago. I wasn't sure if I'd be a daily fantasy guy, but honestly, I've had a lot of fun setting lineups. You can do it however you want. As they say with Prize Picks, run your game. But millions of users, can't be wrong. Made me feel comfortable. Big community, billions of dollars of awarded winnings. I was a little trepidatious at the start. All right, so I'm going to send them some money. Am I going to be able to get my money back if I win? No problem at all. You can actually use MasterCard now. They've got Apple Pay. They got Venmo. When I request my winnings, I get it, pretty much within 15 minutes or so. It's very fast, very easy, and very convenient. And all you're doing is playing against the numbers, stat projections, picking more or less on lineups between 2 and 6 players. So you set your lineup, you watch your games, you see if you win or lose. Right now, you got baseball, pennant races, and you can watch every single night your favorite team cashing in with the San Diego Padres, the official daily fantasy sports partner of Prize Picks. And then with football, we've got plenty of preseason games, but college is starting every single weekend. You set a bunch of lineups with your favorite players, including some new projections this week. Look for those discounted projection squares where you can win even more. Coming up with college football starting, you'll have an opportunity with just like 1/2 of one passing yard to win with discounted projections. Look for Avery Johnson. Look for Dak Prescott with the max discount projections this week. All at Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Don't forget, you can tune into the Manager's Report with Mike Schilt right here this Friday at 9 a.m. on Ben and Woods. The Manager's Report is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And I thought unquestionably good news, Woods, that Michael King is already throwing bullpens after going on the injured list with the inflammation in his knee. Certainly, I was worried that it was going to potentially stretch beyond the 15 days. But according to Mike Schilt and all the reports so far, Michael King should be eligible and ready to return after his 15 days are up, which would be on the series against the Seattle Mariners next week up in Seattle. So that, at the very least, is pretty good news for the Padres, because we've said all year long, for the Padres to really do some damage and go where we want them to go, it's going to require Michael King pitching ace-like baseball in the postseason.
Yeah, and it was a good point I think Mudd made on the broadcast, and I did see people upset because Michael King said, yeah, it kind of acted up in my side session and it was inflamed. He said, but I probably could have gone. And Mudd was talking about, how Michael King is that he throws crossfire, and it was his left leg. So when it would land, he throws such crossfire across his body. If his left knee is weak or inflamed, I think it would make him a lot more ineffective. So I love that they, hopefully got in there and handled everything now and got the swelling down, and he's ready to go. So I'm ready to see him back, and I'm ready to see him for the stretch run, man. That's when we need him.
I just know that we're all feeling a little uneasy about Dylan Cease, even you, Darvish, at this point. But if the Padres can just picture if the Padres can get 5 good innings from Michael King and Nick Pivetta, every fifth day in the postseason. With the bullpen that they have, if they can go 5 innings, 1 run, or 5 innings, 2 runs, Padres are going to be very hard to beat in the playoffs if those guys are both on and performing well with the bullpen that they've got. That means, hey, in a 7-game series, if you could throw both of those guys twice, you wouldn't even need anyone else necessarily to win a game. And even if they do lose one, let's say you lose a 2-1 game with one of those guys pitching, well, you still can find a way to win one of the other 3 games. You have a good game offensively, whatever. There's definitely a path to postseason success with Michael King and Nick Pivetta throwing the way that they are capable of in the postseason. But without Michael King, I just feel like the path is a lot narrower for the San. You need a lot more to go right. You need more offensive players to get hot. And we can talk about it, as we go forward. But to me, the easiest path to postseason success involves Michael King pitching like an ace in October.
No question.
Yeah.
No question about it. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. Got to have him back.
All right, we'll get into the talk about the baseball rights issues that was reported by Yahoo yesterday, coming up at the bottom of the hour. Right now, though, we got John on the line. It is time to play a game of Take on Woods. Take on Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. And John was stunned that Paulie had time to actually screen his call during the break. Oftentimes when you call into our program, we just put you straight on hold.
There's a good
because
chance of that.
We don't have a call screener, and Paulie's doing generously 7 things at once during the course of a program, not just pushing the buttons and playing the commercials, but editing sound and putting up podcasts for later. He does so much work, so we don't always have a chance to screen the call. So if you're on hold, remember, just stay there. We hopefully can get you. But we got John today. John, how are you?
It always makes my day when I get to talk to Paulie for a short amount of time.
I know. So, I can tell you were so excited. All right, here are your categories for Take on Woods. And if you can beat or tie Woods, of course, you'll qualify for our grand prize trip to Las Vegas, 2 nights at Resorts World, 2 VIP passes to their day club, AU Day Club, and a $175 food and beverage credit. Special summer rates available now at rwlasvegas.com. All right, we still have My Way or the Highway. 5 answers. Highway is the key on all of those. New bands. Those are bands whose names begin with new, not necessarily new bands like recent. And then always and forever, the word always in all 5 answers. So My Way or the Highway, new bands, or always and forever. John, what would you like to play?
Let's go with My Way or the Highway.
My Way or the Highway. All right, we're hitting the road with 5 musical answers taken straight from the highway. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. You can pass. If you don't know one, we'll come back to it. First question's the 2-second song. Paulie will play some music. You need to give me the title and the artist. And remember, highway is the key to all these answers. John, are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Again, the category is My Way.
Come on, John.
Or the Highway. John, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Highway to Hell by AC/DC.
Correct. Which 1991 song by Canadian artist Tom Cochrane was covered by Rascal Flatts for the Pixar movie Cars?
Life is a Highway.
Correct. Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson combined to form which country music supergroup in the mid-1980s?
The Highwaymen.
Correct. California State Route 1 north of Los Angeles was the inspiration for which easy listening 1972 hit by the band America?
Route 66.
Incorrect. Kenny Loggins takes us on the highway to where in his signature hit from the movie Top Gun?
Pass.
That's the only one we've got left. Kenny Loggins takes us on the highway to where in his signature hit from the movie Top Gun?
I can think of the lyrics, man. I just can't.
Got a couple more seconds. Maybe they'll come to you. Sing it in your head.
Highway to the Danger Zone.
Danger Zone. Very good. You got it. You got it. That's 4.
Highway to the Danger Zone.
That is absolutely the lyrics, and that's where they were taken. I give them that answer full credit. So that's 4. The only one you missed, Ventura Highway by America. Will that be the difference in the game, though? Text Woods get him back on the line, and we'll see how he does with the same 5 questions, same 60 seconds. All right.
You got us?
Got me?
John scores locked in, Woods.
Okay.
No category for Woodsy. 60
Okay.
seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on John.
Highway to Hell by AC/DC.
Correct. Which 1991 song by Canadian artist Tom Cochrane was covered by Rascal Flatts for the
Life is a Highway.
Correct. Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris
The
Christoph.
Highwaymen.
Correct. California State Route 1 north of Los Angeles was the inspiration for which easy listening 1972 hit by the band America.
Pass.
Kenny Loggins takes us on the highway to where in his signature
Danger Zone.
Correct. California State Route 1 north of Los Angeles was the inspiration for which easy listening 1972 hit by the band America.
I'm trying to remember another America song other than Horse with No Name. I'll just guess Pacific Highway.
Oh, it's not a bad guess,
Close.
but it's Ventura Highway.
Ventura
Which
Highway.
means we got a tie, 4-4. And John,
Nice.
you have qualified for the trip to Las Vegas in the category My Way or the Highway today on Take on Woods.
Oh, I love it, man. Nice. He played a really nice game there. That's nice.
He did. He got Danger Zone at the very last second. He could not think of the Kenny Loggins song, but then I think he sung it in his head and was able to piece it out at the very last. He missed Ventura Highway as well, which is probably one I listen to more because it's a yacht rock classic, but
Yes.
most people probably don't hear that one very often.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent. Excellent.
Let's come back. In the next couple of days, I believe a brand new streaming service is going to get started. It's expensive.
good.
I have no idea what is happening here.
And I think we're all going to end up having to pay for it ultimately in the end. That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Woods and I going to tell you about something that we put off for far too long. You've probably done so as well. Hey, you got a family, you're in your 30s or your 40s or even your 50s, and you have not set up a will or a trust. You need to do it today. And we've got a great way for you to do it, all online, all conveniently at trustandwill.com.
Yeah, I mean, I was damn near 50 when I did mine, Ben, and it just means, it's not too late, but it's not something you want to let drag on and on. It is something that you need to do. It's a very smart business decision for you and your family. Go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN when you check out, FAN. Going to give you 20% off and free shipping of your estate documents.
If you have assets like a house, like a 401k, anything that you want to leave to your family, if you don't set up a trust, they could end up in probate court. Lengthy legal process where the state decides on all those things. Your family could end up bickering, squabbling in court. It's the last thing you want to think about. You just can take care of that now by going to trustandwill.com. Again, get those legal documents in order. No lawyer's office necessary. It's affordable. And again, get 20% off by using the code FAN at checkout at trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Tell you what, Woods, Colonel Budget did not want to have to pay for another streaming service here. And I feel like it's going to be inevitable that I'm going to have to add ESPN's new streaming service at some point to the litany of other, streamers that I'm already paying for.
I asked my dad last night if he had seen the Billy Joel documentary that's out. Really, really good. I don't think we've talked about it yet. It's on HBO. And he goes, "Oh, what's it on?" I said, "HBO." And he kind of sheepishly shook his head. And I go, you're telling me in the year 2025, you still don't have HBO? He goes, "No, my whole life." He's waiting for that HBO free weekend to come back so he could tape all the White Lotuses and everything. I don't think it's happening anymore. I don't think you can do that anymore. I don't know what he's going to do with the advent of this new app. Probably try to get my login from me is my guess, which maybe there will be a station account, Ben, but this one sounds like it's one of those that, especially for what we do, we don't have any choice.
So we've known for a while that ESPN was going to put together its own streamer. I think the reporting is it's going to be like up to $30 a month, $29.99. Is that the pricing that we've heard of?
Can we even start? Let's back it up even further. Because ESPN Plus has not even been around that long. And you had to subscribe. What'd you say?
It's maybe the worst app on the planet.
It's not great. You had to subscribe like within the last few years if you wanted to read specific articles. And then, of course, you were able to get like ESPN3 and stream a bunch of college games or professional games, whatever it was that they had on there at the time. So like, what is this just a new name and a revamped app? Is it completely different from what ESPN Plus currently is? It's going to allow you to watch like SEC Network or something, regardless of where you're at. No blackouts.
So that's the big question here, because we already saw the reports, the huge merger, ESPN, NFL Network, buying NFL Network essentially and giving up 10% of ESPN to the NFL. So they're in bed together. And I thought, I can probably live without the NFL Network. I don't watch it that much anyway, but the new report that, and this is from The Athletic, A weekday package could keep ESPN in the baseball business. Well, the network is also interested in MLB.TV, the league's crown jewel that offers out-of-market games for all its teams. ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro has repeatedly stated his interest in local games as the network launches its new direct-to-consumer product next week. Remember, we had Eric Grupner on last Friday, and he hinted at something big coming, but admitted there's no local entity. There's no local, operation like there used to be with Sinclair, with the, the Fox Sports, whatever, that was going to buy Padres rights. No bidders out there locally. Was he hinting that ESPN is looking to take over the local broadcast rights of teams like the San Diego Padres that are currently being produced by MLB and under the Padres.TV logo? Is that going to be something that we now get in the future on this ESPN streaming app? And I think to me, the answer seems like, I'm putting the 2 and 2 together here, and I think that is exactly where this is heading in the future. Whether it's going to be announced now or in the next offseason, I don't know. But to me, it feels as though ESPN is looking to get into this game of locally produced baseball games, and the Padres might be one of the first canaries in the coal mine to see how it works with ESPN producing local baseball content for specific markets.
And what are your thoughts on it? I mean, do you think it could be a massive benefit? Because that's really all I care about. Wherever it will benefit, our team, a TV deal, whatever, getting more revenue for them. Because again, we talk all the time about it's such a quid pro quo, right? It is a you do for me and I'll do for you. And the fans certainly show up at Petco Park. The fans certainly are rabid about this team. And the team has put a winner on the field as promised. So what is the biggest benefit for the San Diego Padres if something like this happens?
Well, I think especially for people like you and me, older people who still pay for cable, we may actually finally be able to get away from it because what did you say? I mean, it can be $200 a month or more for the cable bill.
Woods would kill for $200 a month.
And mostly it's because you want sports, at your fingertips. You can switch from MLB Network to, whatever you're watching. It's, where to find all the channels. But how much of TNT otherwise do you watch? How much of the other channels do you really watch anymore? You're mostly streaming your entertainment shows, right?
Yeah. Mostly streaming entertainment.
Occasionally you stop at Shawshank Redemption on, when it's playing, but you don't really need that. You can
because you don't know how to log into Tubi or whatever and watch it there.
But for me, it's always been the sports. If I can get my Padres plus, Red Zone and NFL and all my ESPN, programming, and it's $30 a month, that could be where I find, okay, well, then I can give up everything else because I can get what I really need now from this streamer. And while it seems like it's really expensive, it actually may end up being a deal because I'm not really giving up much by giving up the rest of my cable. And I finally got a way to find it.
Like initially it'll be a deal,
for now.
And then all of a sudden it's going to jump up 300%. I remember when YouTube TV came out, it was a steal. It was like $13 a month, and then all of a sudden the next month they're like, hey, by the way, this turns out a lot of people like this, so now it's $70 a month. If this was like, let's play it out and say this is the direction that the Padres broadcasts go, and it's through ESPN's new app. I just want it to be where, regardless of whether I'm across the street from Petco Park or on the East Coast or in another country, I want to be able to watch on my phone. No blackouts. I don't want, you have to be on your home Wi-Fi or anything like that.
Yeah.
Make it easy. Make it easier.
Yeah, the home Wi-Fi bit is just the worst. I mean, it's the absolute worst. So, make it easy. I'll pay. I'll pay for easy. I'll pay for access, and I will pay for easy, no problem. And again, if you can get, like you said, Benny, I'm racking my brain over here thinking about what I actually use my actual TV for. And for me personally, I know my kids have stuff on there that they really enjoy watching but it's a lot of it's Netflix and things like that. Like I think we could finally, with an app like that, finally end up getting rid of that $350 a month charge.
So Karen in the chat asked a really good question here. How can you watch yourself, Ben, on ABC if you don't have cable? And that is, I think, what is going to end up being the real decisive factor. Now, according to what I've read, the ESPN is going to include all the ABC sports programming. But is there going to be a way where you can still get your local channels? You can still get it with a digital converter, like over the airwaves, but I'll admit that can be a little hit or miss signal-wise. Depends on where your TV is and where your antenna is. And does anyone really want to have an antenna anymore? You can get those for free, local channels. But if there is a streamer that can affordably get you the local channels, and there may already be one, I don't exactly know what Tubi is, and there's Roku TV as well, that you could affordably get your local channels on. I think there is probably a path forward. And now that ESPN seems like they're all in, NFL, they've already, trying to get baseball now. They've already had NBA. Now, they have golf streaming. I mean, everything that I watch could end up on ESPN now within the next couple of years. Like pretty much every sport I watch is almost going to be there. What am I going to be missing? Like NASCAR? I don't know. I could probably, I'm not too worried about losing that. So,
and there was more to the reporting that came out yesterday that, Apple TV's backing out allegedly of this new baseball deal.
I think that sucks, man. I think that's a step back for baseball, because I thought Apple TV, the broadcast, some of the commentators were a little bit whatever, but you could always switch over. Well, I say always. Sometimes switch over to Jesse and Tony calling the TV game, which was, I loved it. It synced the broadcast with the radio broadcast. I thought that was a cool feature. Obviously, it came in crystal clear. It was spectacular. But, I think Apple backing out of baseball, if this rumor is true, I think that's bad for the game of baseball. I really do. And I think, not to be a jerk here, but ESPN sucks at baseball. They just do. It has not been Sunday Night Baseball has not been enjoyable since John Miller and Joe Morgan, in my opinion. I know I sound 100 years old at this point, but I don't see too many people that disagree with me. Those guys were at least educated. They were into the game. These days, it's a really tough watch. I know that they're not going to be calling every game and things like that, but ESPN and baseball just hasn't seemed to have the same fervor for one another as they used to.
I know what you're saying, but if it's still like Don and Mud and they're just doing the games produced by ESPN, ESPN knows how to produce games. You may not like all the broadcasters.
That's true.
So that, to me, I'm not too worried about necessarily the announcing content.
Does that mean that we're going to have 300 in-game interviews every single game, because we'll be ESPN produced? We're going to go down on the field live in the middle of the third inning to Xander Bogaerts.
Stan's already doing it sometimes. He's doing dugout interviews. They had a Ryan O'Hearn pregame on the field interview yesterday. They're doing more of them already. So,
listen, that's pregame. We're not, in the middle of a game talking to Francisco Lindor and his wife about date night. I don't need it. I just don't need it. I just want to watch the game. Where do you like to go? Oh, he likes to go to dinner. And where do you like to go, babe? Oh, I like to go to the movies. Like, fantastic. Let's get back to the action at hand. I know that it's an entertainment product, but sometimes the game needs to stand alone. And I think ESPN, that's one of their big mistakes that they've made in baseball.
Now, even
Apple
more,
TV was good, man. It was good quality.
I was really I didn't know how likely it would be, but if a streaming service like Prime or Netflix or, of course, Apple TV was like, you know what, we will buy the rights to the San Diego Padres and maybe, a couple of those other teams that don't really have television homes right now. And every game, kind of like how San Diego FC is, you can pay the $17 a month for Apple TV, but at the beginning of the season, you got to pay the $90 or whatever it was for the season pass. And if they did that with the Padres, where every game was going to be produced and available on Apple TV Plus for, call it the monthly charge plus $200 or $150 for the season or whatever, I would have jumped all over that if you could give me Don and Mud with the Apple TV presentation. But they were also saying that Peacock and NBC now wants to get involved with weekend coverage of Major League Baseball. So would the Padres, if MLB TV went to ESPN, would they be on ESPN's app for 5 days of the week, and then you have to watch them on Peacock on Saturdays and Sundays?
If they were the game of the week, maybe on Peacock, but probably not every single weekend. I would think it would only be certain games like it is now. There will always be the certain one-off games that are on some other channel.
The one thing I will say, and this is how I consume things. I am a Padres fan. So what is the best avenue to help get more money for them, right? More money for a TV deal. Like whatever, you get the best deal, Eric Krupner, that you can get, and you got my support. And I know that there's tons of Padres fans that feel, Padres fans that feel the exact same way. Like, get a good deal, and we will absolutely support. I think they've shown you that they'll support even without an elite TV deal at this point.
So I heard the opposite argument, and I want to talk about it from a national media member about the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm going to bring that up. But we got to check traffic quickly, so don't go away. Ben and Woods, Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Caltrans, reminding you of work on the 805 through 2027. Been a pretty busy morning. We're not over it yet. Crash involving a motorcycle northbound 504 H Street. That's being cleared out of middle lanes. Another crash involving a motorcycle north 125 near Spring Street. That's being cleared out of the HOV lane. Also, collision on eastbound 52 right at the southbound 5 connector ramp. Traveling on northbound 5 before Carmel Valley Road. Crash the center divide. Then up ahead, right before the racetrack. Collision being cleared out of the HOV lane. Caltrans reminds you to slow down for crews working on the Interstate 805 pavement and safety infrastructure project stretching from the 52 to the 15 through the year 2027. Also, please plan accordingly during this project. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Woods, fix your camera if you want people to see anything below your forehead. And then I want to say you make a good point about, hey, if this is the way the Padres are going to be able to finance a good team on the field, then I will support it. If it means, signing up for this ESPN streaming service and, putting the dots together with what Eric Krupner said and what the reporting is this week about ESPN getting into local baseball, I think just makes too much sense. But I heard a national commentator this week talking about Monday's game, Pirates Blue Jays in Pittsburgh, PNC Park. Paul Skeens on the mound against a good team. And he said, hey, Pirates fans have been complaining that Bob Nutting, their owner, won't put money into the franchise, and he's just going to let Paul Skeens go. And that's absolutely fair criticism. Bob Nutting is pretty much considered, along with Dick Monfort, the owner of the Rockies, one of the cheaper, not good owners in baseball. But the point was that only 17,000 people showed up for that game. And if you want the Pirates to go out and spend money on Paul Skeens and sign him to a, $300-400 million long-term contract to be a Pirate for the next 10, 15 years, show your owner that you're willing to show up to at least see him. Hey, don't show up the other 4 days of the week. But when Paul Skeens is pitching at home and he's going, hey, it's only drawing 17,000. I know it's Monday, but this is Paul Skeens. Why would I go out and spend money if it doesn't look like it's going to change any interest at the gate for me as an owner? What do you think about that?
Well, buddy, the way that it's a vicious circle, because Bob Nutting has done nothing to earn their trust that they'll say, all right, fine, we'll come watch Paul Skeens pitch. Because he has proven time and time again he won't spend money. And if you're only filling the stadium one every 5 days just for Paul Skeens, it's this vicious circle. Bob Nutting is like, no, we need you to show up. And they're like, yeah, but even if we show up, will you still spend the money? And he's just proven over the years that he won't. So I can see and smell the distrust from Pittsburgh, and I fully support it. I think they have every right to be distrustful of that guy.
That's fine, but then maybe will it ever change then, or are the Pirates just doomed?
Yeah,
as long as he's the owner.
When ownership changes, or when Bob Nutting says, "Okay, watch this. Here's Paul Skeens. I'm signing him." I mean, they did Brian Hayes to a long-term deal. They traded him. I know he's not great, but they signed him to a long-term deal, and they traded him to a division rival.
And the Padres are the model. They spent, and the fans came.
Yep.
I'm surprised that more teams aren't trying it, because it's worked out pretty well for the Padres. All right, you say it was a failure yesterday, but I wasn't here. Let's bring back Ben's box again and see if we can do it a little bit better this time around. Coming up next on The Fan.
Oh, boy.
Final hour of Ben and Woods on a Wednesday. Hey, this is the furthest I've made it in any show this week, which is definite progress.
Congratulations. Just an hour to go. Will he do it? Will Ben stay?
Make it all the way through. So coming up this hour, obviously we've got a Rondo report, look ahead to a Padres game tonight against the Giants, game 3 of the 4-game series, and a little sneak preview of our conversation with Eno Saris, who dropped a piece this morning about Fernando Tatis Jr.'s lack of power. He's already talked about it a little bit with us, but he went into much more detail about what may be going on with Fernando Tatis Jr. So we'll get to all of that coming up. But before we do anything else, I missed it yesterday. I was looking forward to the first ever installment of Ben's, what are we calling it? Ben's Big Box? Ben's
Big Beautiful Box.
Ben's Big Beautiful Box. It's a game we wanted to play. We gave away some Padres tickets yesterday, and apparently you said it was over before it even started.
Yes.
Yeah, it took 1 second.
All right, so if we want to play Ben's Big Beautiful Box, we're going to try it again today. You need to call in right now at 833-288-0973.
Oh, what's in the box?
We're going to be giving away another pair of tickets, not the Padres this time, but we do have some tickets to give away, this time to the Front Row Card Show. VIP tickets to the Front Row Card Show at the Town & Country Resort, August 30th and 31st. More than 400 vendors of sports cards, Pokemon, comic books, autographs, and other collectibles. Plus, you can sell your collections because they're buying with cash at the show at frontrowcardshow.com. So you're not going to get screened. Paulie's just going to put you on hold. Keep calling in because if this goes well, it may take a few minutes. That was the idea.
That's the idea.
Because what we've done, just like we did yesterday, we're taking something that we found around our radio station and put it into Ben's box.
Ben's Big Beautiful Box.
We shake the box and you listen to the noise that it makes. And the first person that I can identify what it is going to win the ticket. So you just keep calling and we'll just keep taking callers. After we get through like 5 or 6, if no one's getting close, I'll give you a little bit of a hint to get you in the right direction. But yesterday, first caller got it.
It was
paper
nailed
clips.
It was awful.
I was worried that
was
this
terrible.
would take too long. Paper clips may have been a tad too obvious. So, Paulie, if you would hand me Ben's Big Beautiful Box, which is a little janky, but I did write Ben's box on here.
Okay.
So it is official. It's just an Amazon Prime shipping box that we found around the station. But your job is to guess what's in here. So let me shake it up for everybody. Take a listen, and then we'll start taking the phone calls. Okay, you ready? Here we go.
Oh.
All right.
Paper clips.
That was the sound that it made. All right, you ready to start taking some phone calls? I'll just go right down the board. All right, I'm going to ask who it is, and then I'm going to ask for your guess. So, line 1, caller, who's this? I hear you. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi.
Hi. I've never called in before.
All right,
my
what's
name's
your
Jeremy.
What's your name?
Jeremy.
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 All right,
You just
Jeremy.
said it.
Here again. What do you think is in Ben's box to win the tickets to the Front Row Card Show?
Oh my goodness. Bobblehead. I don't know.
You got to be effing kidding me. You have to be
Are you
kidding
me?
Burn it down. Burn it down. We're done. That's the last
Did
time.
I
This is the
actually get
dumbest
it?
game.
Yes, you got it.
You
It's
got
a
it.
Brian Dutcher
You got it.
bobblehead.
I hate it.
This is insane. This is nuts.
Oh man.
You gotta be kidding me!
There's no way you could. There's no way, Jeremy. I'm so.
Hey, I'm
I'm
driving
devastated.
to work right now, and I just figured I'd call.
I'm devastated.
I hate that we can't curse right now.
Congratulations,
You did it.
Jeremy.
Thank
Stay
you.
on the
So
line.
stupid.
Paulie
It's
is
unbelievable.
eventually going to get your information for these tickets.
Yeah,
This
in
is
10
like
minutes
doing-
because we
this
thought
is-
this would take the full segment.
This is like doing
Oh
a
my
segment
god, dude.
where you get a caller. This is like a trivia segment where you get a caller on the line. You're like, all right, Ben, you be the caller. Okay, welcome in. It's Ben and Woods Trivia. Are you ready, sir?
Let's go. Let's play. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. You just need one here, okay? You just need to get one correct. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
What is 2 plus 2?
4.
That's it. You got it. You nailed it. Absolutely.
I thought bobblehead would be so much harder than paperclip.
So much harder.
I can't believe that happened.
I can't. You guys, I don't know.
Right.
Bobblehead.
I swear to God, I understand. If I was a tier 1 and listening to this show, I would assume there's no chance in hell. You guys can say whatever you want. I'm not going to believe it. This was staged. This is fake. You would be giving us way too much credit for thinking like that, because we don't think that way.
I get paperclips. I mean, paperclips, you could only have been a few things. It's something probably small with a lot of them in there. I get that. Bobblehead, I thought was going to take us at least 7 to 10 minutes to come up with a winner.
We did this like an hour ago during the commercial break. We're like, all right, let's maybe bring it back. All right, what can we find around here that's a little bit harder than paper clips? Found the Brian Dutcher bobblehead that's been sitting behind me.
We should have made you guess who it was.
He would have been like, I don't know, Brian Dutcher? Yeah.
Brian Dutcher. See, Copter Doctor says you need a new bit. I love that you've been thwarted by 2 colors in a row. I think now we have to. We're doing it every day until it actually works. I'm pot committed, but we'll be bringing in. I'm going to be bringing in. Oh, when I get home, just wait. I'm going to be bringing in all kinds of stuff from around the house. We have to keep doing this. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I cannot believe that happened. We shook it. We were like, all right, Woods, can you hear us? Yeah. Okay. We shook it. You're like,
I said, yeah, that sounds good. That's
definitely
a good sound.
Tougher than yesterday. You can maybe sort of kind of start to hear a bobble if you're listening for it. We're like, all right.
Hey, let's play it with Shilty on Friday. That's unbelievable.
He would murder us if we made him try to guess what's in Ben's box.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to. Sure. All right. Well, I'll bring in a bigger.
I'll
bring in like a shoebox tomorrow. It's a little bit more space. Give us something to work with there. And I guess
we're doing this.
We have to
we're doing this again. Yeah, I need at least one wrong guess. One.
Just one in the history of the game.
I cannot believe that happened.
That's so good. You couldn't have scripted that better. Really, you could not have scripted it better. But
this is my first time ever calling into the show, guys. I thought I'd give it a
Jeremy
shot.
was his name.
Jeremy.
Somebody said he's not on the tier 1 baseball team. I promise you, we don't have any Jeremys. That is truly incredible. I cannot believe that happened again. That's radio gold, though. You can't script that out. You really can't. That was brilliant.
Tomorrow, cotton balls.
Yeah, something.
Air. Oh, holy crap.
Yeah, it's really spectacular. Now, this is exactly what happened yesterday, Ben. You just get you get thwarted, and you sit and you go, all right, now we got to fill 7 minutes.
Let's look ahead to tonight's game. And Paul, if you want to get Jeremy's information while Woods and I talk about JP Sears officially returning. He was on the taxi squad yesterday. He will be activated onto the Major League roster today. I have no idea whose spot he's going to be taking, by the way. I mean, who do you think? I guess Ron Marinaccio probably. Yeah,
Marinaccio
is probably headed back down to the minor leagues. So JP Sears,
which is unfortunate. Because I thought he pitched really well. I like Ron Marinaccio
the problem
and what he brings, but you need a starter.
If JP Sears pitches poorly, Ron Marinaccio is probably the first guy you need off the out of the bullpen to eat some innings for him if he doesn't make it out of like the second or the third. And let's be honest, JP Sears was not great the first time he took the mound for the San Diego Padres, but he was a key part of the Mason Miller trade. I mean, they asked about, remember, AJ Preller asked about JP Sears before he even started bringing up Mason Miller's name. This was one of the pitchers he was targeting to add depth to the Padres rotation at the trade deadline.
Well, there's clearly something that they see in him. And listen, I'm not going to roast the guy over one start with a new team in Arizona. I'm just not. I mean, it's short-sighted to do so. Needs to have a good bounce back. First time pitching at Petco Park as a member of the Padres today. See what he can give you, man. I have no problem with this move whatsoever. You need depth. He's controllable. There's something in him that they like. Look, not a hard thrower, but if he can spot up, which he did not do, last game, Benny, I think we'll be okay. Just keep us in the game. That's your only gig here today, man. 4 innings, keep us in the game.
Gave up a career-high 10 hits in 5 innings at Chase Field against the Arizona Diamondbacks on August 4th, and then was sent immediately down to the minor leagues. But they knew they'd need him back at some point, and this is the point where they've got him back, taking a spot that would have been Michael King's spot, but instead is going to go to J.P. Sears. Now, remember, he had a lot of good outings with the Athletics so far this season. This is not a guy that you feel like is just a throwaway pitcher. He's someone who I think the Padres really expect to be part of their rotation consistently for the next couple of years at least going forward. So keep an open mind, I'd say, and hopefully J.P. Sears, like you said, one start, new team, learning a new catcher, some new signs. Hopefully just some time in the organization may have helped him the last couple of weeks and getting more familiar and more comfortable with the way the Padres are kind of operating, and maybe more comfortable pitching at home, even though it's, Petco Park is probably no more familiar than any other mound to him right now. He'll be in front of supportive fans, obviously, for tonight's game against the Giants.
Well, and he did pitch okay when he went down to El Paso, but he picked up a win. 2 runs in 5 innings. Sign up for that right now, this moment. I sign up for 2 runs, 5 innings from J.P. Sears tonight. Talking about his record against San Francisco, he's 2-1 with a 1.82 in 4 career starts. Struck out 26 batters over 24 and 2/3. Threw 6 scoreless against them on July 4th. So, yeah, man, need a decent start from him today.
Meanwhile, the Giants are going with Landon. I think it's Roop. We had the same game last time when he pitched against Padres.
Yeah, we did.
What his name, how you pronounced his name, but he threw pretty well against the Padres his last time out. 6 innings, 6 1/3, 4 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts, just 2 walks. Was really efficient in a game. The Padres did end up winning in 10 innings, 3-2. They did better against him earlier in the year, back in at Petco Park in April. They got 4 runs and 7 hits off of him in 4 1/3 innings. So this will be the 3rd time they see him this season, which is at least some familiarity with the guy. But obviously another right-hander, so I'd expect to see Ryan O'Hearn back in the lineup again today. No matter what the health and availability is of Jackson Merrill, I would think that you've got Ryan O'Hearn somewhere in your lineup, even as a DH.
Yeah, no question about it. He's got to be in there tonight. Swinging the bat pretty well. Since he got here, love to see more from more ABs for him. Maybe Gavin gets in there again tonight, against the righty. But it's a big one. It's certainly a big one. He's chewed up the Giants pretty good in his career, so hopefully he can keep that going. Comfortable pitching against those guys. All right, the $1 million question though: does he give up a bomb in the first inning tonight? There's no way it can happen again, right? There's no chance. It cannot happen again.
Yes.
You think he does?
I don't know. I feel like the fluky one 2 nights ago was Ramos, because he's not good against lefties. He's got the lowest OPS, and he hit a home run off of Cortez. Sears is another lefty, right? So I don't know. I say no.
I'm gonna laugh my ass off if it does.
The streak ends tonight.
It's gonna make me insane if they do. I'll roll with you. I'll say the streak ends tonight. Paul, are you taking the?
I'll
the
say
home run?
yes.
He'll say yes. Okay.
It would be something.
Let's take a timeout. When we come back, as I mentioned, Eno Saris has a piece about Fernando Tatis Jr. And I know I've seen the comments out there. Oh, the power outage. Tatis, he's off the steroids, and that's why he's not hitting home runs. And Eno doesn't think it really has anything to do with that at all. I want to talk about what Eno has said in detail about Fernando Tatis Jr. coming up next with Ben and Woods. Don't go away. We'll be back after traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I get another opportunity to talk about sdfatloss.com. Instead of talking about my weight loss, though, let me give some credit to some of my other colleagues here around the building. John from KSON lost 30 pounds in 60 days. Jess, their producer, lost 40 pounds in 60 days. Scraby lost 40 pounds. Chris Ello lost 37 pounds. Tony Gwynn Jr., I don't know how much weight he's lost, but he's looking really, really dialed in after he started the program. And then we've got listeners like Manny, Tier 1, lost 50 pounds in 60 days. Since then, he's dropped an additional 43 pounds. We got John, a listener who's lost 40. So many success stories with sdfatloss.com. You could be the next one. Tier 1s, find out how you can lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in 2 months with no shots, No exercise necessary. Just eating real food from the grocery store, even restaurants. They'll teach you simple steps to become a fat-burning machine with your counselor at sdfatloss.com. Get your free consultation online and then sign up for the program here in August. Get $200 off and watch the weight start coming off sustainably. I've kept my weight off for 2 years. You can do it as well. You just have to find out how. Again, go to sdfatloss.com. Get that free consultation and start losing the weight. At sdfatloss.com, results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Nativa Interiors. This Labor Day weekend, 2 iconic design companies are joining forces for a warehouse sale. Join Nativa Interiors and Hold It Contemporary Home in Miramar for huge discounts on living, dining, bedroom, and outdoor furnishings. Call or text for more details at 619-215-6893. All right, welcome back. We still have a Rindle Report coming up in a few minutes, but I saw a piece in Sports Illustrated yesterday. Tom Verducci writing about why the Milwaukee Brewers and the San Diego Padres both have a major issue for the postseason. And that issue is a lack of power. Verducci writes that in the regular season...
You got a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. All right. He said the playoffs have become increasingly, even since the Kansas City Royals kind of punched and judied their way to a World Series title a decade ago, the playoffs have become increasingly reliant on teams hitting home runs for offense. Rallies are few and far between in the playoffs. With high leverage arms available every single night, it's very tough to put together 3 and 4 hits together in an inning to score runs. So the teams that can score with one swing of the bat tend to be the more successful ones. And the Brewers haven't been great at it. They're 18th in baseball with just 135 home runs, but Padres have been downright awful. They are 29th out of 30 teams this year with just 106 home runs. And they're 12 behind 28. The only team they're better than are the Pittsburgh Pirates this season. So
you're telling me if we hit 9 home runs tonight, we're still in 29th place.
We had 11 home runs tonight. We're still in 29th place.
We pull the New York Yankees and hit 9. Just not 9. What they did last night, we're still in second place. Fantastic.
So it's
They're
not all
29th.
on one person. I mean, Fernando Tatis could have 28 home runs right now, and the Padres would still be 29th in the league in home runs, but he certainly personifies a bit of the power outage for the San Diego Padres. He's in his now second career-long at-bat without a home run slump. He went near like 96 earlier this year. Now he's over 100 since his last home run. And we've talked about this a little bit with Eno Saris, but he put out a piece in The Athletic explaining it in much more detail this morning. And it's not what a lot of fans think. A lot of fans point to the suspension for PEDs, ringworm a few years ago, and say, well, that's clearly where the power has gone. But Eno says that it doesn't really make a lot of sense because his swing speed is still good. His exit velocity is still good. He's 15th in baseball and hitting the ball hard. So he's hitting the ball as hard as he always did. It's simply where he's hitting it and what angle he's hitting it at that has changed for Fernando Tatis Jr.
Benny, it makes it very, very difficult for Fernando Tatis Jr. to step in the box and get ready to ambush a fastball when he thinks potentially it's going to be up around his chin. You know what I mean? It's hard to, I'm not saying it's hard to dig in. It's just hard to get ready to ambush that pitch, pull that pitch, knowing the way that they've been pitching me effectively is up and in, down and away. You can see why he's waiting, maybe an extra click, the timing maybe just a little bit off so that he ends up hitting the ball to the right side instead of pulling it down the line or pulling it into the gap. He is I think genuinely in his head about it. But, you look at the guy's numbers, it's actually exhausting to keep talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. every day as a 5-WAR player. It's pretty bananas. I mean, he's at 17 homers. How many did he hit last year? He hit 21. The year before, 25. Then you had the 42 home run season, 17 and 22 before that. Everyone's acting like this is a guy who hits 60 home runs a year, and he's on pace to hit 12. It's just I don't quite understand the hubbub, the furor over it. I said it yesterday and probably didn't articulate it the way I wanted to, but at least with this power drought, and there is one for sure, he's a guy that should run into a homer more than 106 ABs. At least none of the other stuff has fallen off, right? At least at that point, he's still a very complete player minus some slug and some power.
No, he absolutely is. And if he was on a team where there was a bunch of other guys hitting home runs, I don't think we'd care at all. It's the fact that the Padres aren't hitting a lot of home runs that makes it an issue. And it is an issue because they do need more home runs, and he's one of the guys who could hit more home runs. As Eno has explained, Fernando is letting the ball travel further, which not only impacts the where you're hitting it on the field. Obviously, it's shorter to hit it down the left field line than it is to hit it up the middle to center. But he says it also impacts the launch angle quite a bit. The attack angle of the bat is different. So when he is making good contact, generally he's hitting it more on a line drives the other way rather than up in the air for home runs, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Here's the problem. And there was some quotes from Victor Rodriguez, Padres hitting coach, in here as well. You could say to Fernando, hey, let's look at trying to attack the ball a little bit earlier and pull it. But Victor points out, but when you think that, you may mess yourself up completely and actually do more harm than good by trying to then you get out in front of it, you get on your front foot, you mess up your swing entirely, and then you go into a giant slump. And I think the Padres are reluctant, knowing, as you pointed out, Woods, how valuable Fernando Tatis Jr. has been getting on base, scoring runs, not swinging at pitches because he's letting, he gets to see them longer, so he doesn't have to, swing at pitches early and realize, oh, that was actually a slider. I shouldn't have swung at that one. They don't want to mess with him too much because they like what he's doing, which makes it kind of a catch-22 about trying to get him to hit for more power.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's weird. People get weird about this stuff. Anthony says, don't start defending this now. He was paid to hit and played short, not play right field where all the war is accumulating from him. Well, he was asked to go play right field, and he won a platinum glove doing so. And I think they thought, this is the best spot for him to keep him on the field and to play more baseball games. And I agree. And you can't say that it hasn't worked. It's absolutely worked. What needs defending about that? The guy has turned himself into a premier right fielder, and it's valuable. Like did I miss a memo? Is defense not valuable in Major League Baseball anymore at all? Is run prevention not valuable? And again, like defending him, he's a 5-WAR player right now. Like, why would I have to defend a 5-WAR player to this fan base?
And by the way, yes, shortstop is maybe a more quote unquote valuable position because you see more defensive action at shortstop, but I don't think Fernando Tatis Jr. was ever going to be as good of a shortstop as he already is a right fielder. He could go down as one of the best right fielders defensively of all time in this game. And I didn't see that arc happening at shortstop. He was going to make some spectacular plays at shortstop, but I didn't see him as being an all-time great Ozzie Smith type defender. He can be in right field. So I think going to right field is not the issue. The question simply is, can he figure out a way to add more pop, more power without impacting the other things that he's doing? And Eno basically says the answer is kind of no. You can have a power hitter. There's a reason why in the history there's power hitters and there's contact hitters. And you can't really do both constantly. To be a power hitter, you have to swing early and you have to strike out. You strike out a bunch because you guess wrong, you swing too early, and you're not able to make contact. So there can't be both. Now, if you want Fernando to go back to trying to being a strikeout a lot more, not walk as much, power hitter, they can try to accomplish that, but not now. They'd have to work on that in the offseason. You're not going to make major swing changes at this point of the year. I think you just have to live with and appreciate who Fernando Tatis Jr. is right now. And hopefully the additions of Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn will start making up for some of the lack of power that the Padres have had overall this season.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's down across the board for the entire team. And again, I like what Eno says, and we've talked all year about if this team can pull the ball more, then they can hit home runs. That's the spot for Petco Park, pulling it down the line into left field. And Kyle Higashioka was so adept at that when he was here. But, again, I do feel – I know he wants to hit home runs. He said it after the game last night. He goes, yeah, listen, I need to be better, but we're winning ball games. So, I don't know. I feel like he's a guy he's one of those guys for me. As long as he's in the lineup, I feel pretty confident that he's going to help you win a baseball game. I really do. And take the salary out of it. What does that have to do with it? Really? Like he is a player that can change the game on a dime in a bunch of different ways. He's got 25 bags this year. He's been thrown out 6 times. Probably should have about 40 bags if it wasn't for who hits behind him. So I'm not super worried about it.
All right, final thing, and I got to push back because Jimmy in our chat says the eye test says he doesn't look as strong as he did pre-ringworm. Hate to say that out loud, but it's true.
Well, I thought you already addressed that.
Well, I thought I did, but here's the thing: your eyes deceive you. If a police officer pulls you over and says, "Well, I know your speedometer said 65, my radar gun said 65, but my eye test said you were going 90, so I'm writing you a ticket." Right. I think you'd be pretty mad and wish you can't go with the eye test. You have to go with what the numbers say, and the numbers say that Fernando Tatis Jr. hasn't lost anything in terms of his pop. It's simply a launch angle. Steroid strength, it doesn't make you hit the ball in the air. It can help you obviously with strength and power, but he still has the same and better even bat speed and exit velocity as he did. So go with the numbers, not your eye test.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not. I got starting pitching problems I got to worry about, right? Now again, when we get to the playoffs, I think as everyone is laid out in chapter and verse, you do need to have some pop, and it's going to be tough. It's hard to imagine this team turning on a power stroke. When the clock strikes October, I have no idea, but. Somebody needs to figure out how to hit more bombs for this team. Fernando Tatis Jr., again, according to I don't know if it's just a slight adjustment, Ben. If it's a slight adjustment and he goes up there trying to yank the ball every time, does that take away from who he is right now with an 800 OPS?
Yes, he will walk less and he will strike out more. And maybe that's worth it, but he will, because there's really no way. There's no way to hit the ball earlier without striking out more and walking less. And that's the trade-off you have to be willing to accept. And the Padres are saying, we don't want to mess with him right now in the middle of the season when he is being as valuable as he is. And I get that. I totally get that. I hope, Laureano and O'Hearn could make a huge difference. Those were absolutely essential pickups by A.J. Preller. And if they hit home runs in the postseason, won't matter as much if Fernando and even Manny Machado are not hitting as many home runs. All right, let's.
Yeah, look, I think Manny needs to get the power stroke going. You know what I mean? Manny's a guy you could pencil in 30 bombs, and he's sitting at 20 right now.
Yeah.
So he's got 10 more he needs to get. But again, there's still 36 games to go. See what happens.
All right, we'll take a final timeout. Paulie's got some headlines for us in the Roundel Report. Anything you want to tease for us, Paulie?
Yes, I am claiming that the Padres are the 2022 World Series champions.
Wow, that is.
I have claimed
nice.
it.
Let's put the banner up. Coming up next on San Diego's number one.
Hang the banner.
Hang the banner on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
I'll hang the banner for 7 Mile Casino as the best card room in San Diego. They don't. I think the atmosphere speaks for itself when you walk into 7 Mile Casino. You can make that determination on your own. You just have to check it out yourself by making the short trip down the 5 freeway, Chula Vista, west side of the 5 Bay Boulevard, and pulling in to 7 Mile Casino.
Yeah, there's no question, Benny. It is our place. It has been for a long time. They've always taken such good care of us. They've taken care of the tier ones over the years as well. And make it a point to get down there. Great time to do it, man. Pre-game, post-game. Go play some California-style blackjack, some Texas Hold'em, some Pai Gow, or some Baccarat. They'll take great care of you.
And if you are a high-limit player, yes, they know how to take care of their high-limit players as well. 35% discount when you order food from Sammy's at the table. They've got professional dealers. They're spreading high-limit action. If you're a Texas Hold'em player, yeah, you're going to find some good action there on the no-limit side, over on the tables, over on the right side of the room. So, yeah, your place to play cards needs to be 7 Mile Casino. Very close, just a short drive from downtown. 7 Mile Casino. Check it out today. Ben and Wood sent you.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
All right, Padres and Giants continuing their 4-game series. Last 2 games of the year against the San Francisco Giants. Tonight, 6:40. Tomorrow, 1:10 at Petco Park. And then, of course, the Dodgers come to town. Probably too much to ask for the Colorado Rockies to step up and win one more of these last 2. I feel glad that they got even one in that
Me
series.
too.
But you never know. It's Coors Field. Crazy things happen. You know what's funny about that win on Monday? The walk-off win by Warming Bernabel of the Rockies.
Yes, Warming.
So part of the reason the Rockies won that game is that they were ultra aggressive on the base paths. They saw basically what the Padres saw against the Dodgers and Blake Snell, and they saw it on Monday against Yamamoto. A chance to steal bases, take extra bases on like Teoscar Hernandez, who had a bad defensive game. The same game plan that failed so miserably for the San Diego Padres worked to perfection for the Colorado Rockies because, well, baseball. It doesn't mean it was the wrong strategy for the Padres to try to steal off Blake Snell. He is generally one of the easiest guys to steal off of. So the Padres went with the smart strategy. Padres are very effective at stealing bases, and they tried to steal a bunch of bases off Blake Snell. Sometimes the right strategy doesn't work in baseball, which is really, really frustrating to fans. But it doesn't mean that Mike Schilt was an idiot or that the Padres, runners didn't have the right feel for the situation. Just means that, Will Smith made some really, really good throws, and, it worked out well for the Dodgers in that game.
It's funny because Mike Schilt, they picked that up off of Blake Snell when he was here.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't thrown, he threw for the Giants, but they picked it up off Blake Snell when he was here. And people stole a lot of bags off of him, but they also stole a lot of bags on the not great catching core that we had back there. At the same time, it's like, they swipe bags off Blake, but they also swipe bags off of Nola and Campy and the rest of the crew that we've had over the years here. So what I would be interesting to see is, do you dare try it again when you face Blake Snell the next time, Ben?
I think it's the right strategy because it wasn't just off the Padres. Blake Snell, when he was at the Rays, different catchers, he has always been fairly easy to run on. So it's the right thing to do. The hardest thing in baseball is continuing to do something that hasn't been working because it is the right thing to do and trusting that eventually the numbers will play out in your favor. But
who was, do you know who was catching the other night? Was it Rushing or
I think it was Smith who threw out
Smith?
all the runners in that game in particular.
Well, that's who threw out ours, but who were they running against in Colorado?
I don't know who they were running on Monday. And it was mostly taking extra bases on their outfield. I mean, Dodgers outfield played well in that game as well. Teoscar Hernandez made a bunch of mistakes on Monday.
He got called out. Called out by Dave Roberts. I saw it made kind of national news.
I think the hangover for both teams was kind of real. Even though the Padres lost that series, Monday was a tough game for both teams after having, put so much emphasis on those 3 games the previous weekend that they both came out not at their best on Monday. And then both teams bounced back with solid performances last night. All right, let's
it was rushing.
Let's check traffic, and then we will come back, and Paulie will have some headlines for us in the Roundel Report.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This traffic report is driven by local and veteran-owned Manny Sedano Ford and Lincoln in La Mesa. Wrapping things up with one problem here in the North County, southbound 15 Via Rancho Parkway exit. Collision involving a couple cars there over to the right shoulder. Got a buck? Get a truck. Lease the all-electric 2025 Ford Lightning for just $1 down and $349 a month at Sedano Ford and Lincoln in La Mesa. SedanoFord.com for more details. Visit Sedano Ford or SedanoLincoln.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Here with our today's edition of the Roundel Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
All right, Paulie.
Happy, what's today?
Wednesday,
gentlemen. All right, let's start off here with the tease to pay it off. I said I am claiming that the Padres are the 2022 World Series champions. Now, they didn't play in the World Series. They came up a little bit short, but apparently you can just start claiming national championships now if you would like. Talking, of course, so Auburn. Now, Auburn football has done this for a while, but they've made some news recently where they have like officially claimed they are saying that they are claiming 9 deserved, legitimate college football national championships. And of course, a lot of this is back in the BCS system. And one of the years in particular was 2004. I looked it up. In 2004, USC finished #1 in the final BCS rankings, and they were crowned the national champions that year. They played Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl that year, and they won 55-19. Auburn did not play in that game, and they finished 2nd in the BCS ranks behind USC, also at 13-0. And they're not the only school to do this. They're just the school that they're in the news today for it. They are saying, well, we didn't lose that year, so we're claiming national champions for 2004. I would like to claim the Padres, who didn't play in the World Series. They're World Series champions. We didn't lose the World Series.
This
is anything you'd like to claim, Ben?
I don't have anything I'd like to claim, because other than the fact that college football had the dumbest system for a century. Well, first of all, even when they didn't have the BCS, they had both the AP and the coaches poll pick the winners. Like sometimes you'd have separate national champions because they couldn't decide on who the national champion was. And then you had a BCS where just 2 teams made the playoffs, but sometimes there were 3 undefeated teams and 1 team got left out. So, of course, they're going to claim a national championship. Why it took them so long to finally come to the idea that every other sport in pretty much the world does, hey, let's have a playoff to decide who wins the national championship, and decide it on the field rather than in some mythical national championship. I have no idea why it took so long.
I don't get it.
Yeah, very excited for college football to start.
But there are there are teams that claim championships from the 40s and that they finished 21st in the poll, but they decided, oh no, but we're the national champions, and they add it to their media, like when they send out their media notes,
on a banner.
We're 9-time national champions. Are you really? Because I don't think you really are.
All right, we'll move on to sports adjacent. In Hollywood, Apple has picked up a new comedy, and it's a movie with Ben Stiller about pickleball.
Ooh.
Pickleball, which has completely taken the world by storm over the last handful of years. Now, I think you can probably, based on what I've read here, there's very few details that are out, but it's called The Dink. And it's a pickleball comedy starring and executive produced by Ben Stiller. So everyone's saying, all right, think Dodgeball from 2003, 2004, but pickleball says nearly 2 decades after dodgeball, Stiller makes his return to the sports comedy arena, this time swapping dodgeballs for paddles. The film is directed by Josh Greenbaum and features Jake Johnson, Ed Harris, Mary Steenburgen, Andy Roddick, and John McEnroe.
Nice.
I'm sure they're not going to make
watch
any fun of pickleball players in this movie, right? It's going to be very serious.
I think that's the whole point. I had fun when I played it a couple times. It's a blast.
Yeah, I went out to the pickleball playoffs that were at Point Loma over the weekend, and it was. I mean, they're really, really talented. I mean, but you do have to master both the small game, like the little tiny, the dinks. Obviously, that's where the title of the movie comes,
Right.
as opposed to the smashes, which you'd like to get to, but oftentimes those rallies are just the little dinks into the kitchen because you can't put your feet in the kitchen and hit the ball. That's a foul in pickleball.
No news yet on a release date. It's in post-production already, and then Apple has announced that it will be on Apple TV Plus. So keep an eye out for the release date on that.
I didn't know there's
another.
another Meet the Parents movie coming out next year too.
Oh Jesus! Another one?
No, is there?
Yeah, the fourth one. Focker-in-Law.
The last Focker-in-Law?
Focker-in-Law is what it's called. The title of the of the movie coming out next year.
What's it? Hold on. What's it called?
Focker-in-Law.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then finally,
the last two have been terrible, horrific.
So there was Meet the Parents, and then
Meet
it
the
was
Fockers.
Meet the Fockers,
Meet the Fockers.
and then Little Fockers, and now it's Focker-in-Law.
Meet the
Little
Fockers
Fockers
was
one of the-
okay.
Oh, they were. No, it was horrible. Barbra
I never
Streisand,
saw
Dustin
the third
Hoffman.
one.
Oh,
I don't know that I saw the third one either.
it was
But
horrible.
you're comparing it to the first one, which was so great.
So perfect.
It's
perfect.
tough to follow any of that up. Finally, this could have fallen into the category. Sometimes we talk about the group AITA, right? Am I the a-hole?
A-hole.
And I think if
Yep.
this was one of those questions, this guy is definitely the a-hole. Now, this has been going on for several weeks, but there's this guy named John Stockwell who is on TikTok, and for weeks, he has been chronicling him using his Amazon Prime account to purchase very heavy 110-pound cast iron anvils on Amazon that are available for purchase. Only
We
to
did this story.
No. What?
The anvil story? We did this, didn't we?
I don't
remember
we've ever
an
talked about
anvil
this.
Does this
Story?
not sound familiar to you guys? Oh man, okay.
He's been ordering these 110-pound anvils, getting it, 2-day shipping, and then flipping it and right around and returning it just to be a jerk and make these delivery drivers have to carry 110-pound anvils. He's been buying like 20 of them a week and just returning them. And everyone's like, dude, that's a waste of energy. That's a waste of resources. These poor delivery drivers have to lug these 110-pound anvils that cost over $220 each. And he has just been buying them and shipping them and returning them to no avail. For
I have to ask, what does an anvil actually do other than like a
I don't
really,
know.
really
I've
heavy
never
like
known.
paperweight? I mean, I remember seeing
you
them in
bet-
cartoons like my whole
Right.
life, but
You bang like metal on them. I think if you're doing
if you're a metal worker, like a steel
metal
worker,
yeah,
metallurgy,
blacksmithing. You do metal
which is really popular nowadays.
No, this is. Remember, Paulie, we did the story where the random stuff kept being sent to that
the
lady's
seat
house.
covers.
She had like the seat covers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's what I thought.
And then
it
there was another one, like
These
the woman's child bought like 6,000
Yes.
suckers on
That's
delivered
right.
to their house.
No, this was. This guy he's just doing it to be a jerk.
He's just doing it to be a jerk. Yeah. I mean, he's ordered
Clout,
like
man.
hundreds of these these anvils, and just returning them right away, gets the money credited right back, and then he buys another one. And people are like, dude, you got to knock this off.
It's a decent bit for us to do to Ben. I mean, it's actually, but it doesn't really mess with Ben. It just messes with if Ben was an Amazon worker, I think we would do this. If your second job was Amazon delivery, I would do this all the time. I think it would be hysterical.
By the third time, I'd leave the anvil somewhere where it's going to fall on his head, Bugs Bunny style. At some
You would
point.
be wise to it.
All right, that's it.
Oh, that's great.
That's it for the show today. Little teaser from San Diego FC, who just said we have a loan to announce, but then have not announced anything yet, so we'll see if they're adding a new player. Tomorrow, though, we'll be back for not only our show, but a roundtable, 5 hours of talk on the Padres with Paulie and Woods and Ben. Braden's coming up next. Have a great rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.